The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
I'm looking for a pillow, one to sleep on. I need something with a little bit more heft. I want the best pillow.
Memory foam?
Money is no object. I think memory foam, I lean toward that.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
Does that like fill the crevices though? Like if you got it kind of bunched up?
Not between his ears. Oh.
Whoa.
You just kind of
Yeah.
wing it. Like, you're
It's
like,
a
let's try
journey.
this one.
It's a journey.
Then you get one of those ones that's like feathers and it gets all like separated out, and
Yeah.
you got like thin parts and thick parts, and you can't do feathers anymore, right? But I don't know.
Why can't you do feathers anymore?
No, it's allergies maybe.
Oh, if you have allergies, you can't do it. You could never do it. Criticism I got of the argument with a capital T is that you guys were talking over each other and people couldn't hear what you were saying.
People complain about that.
No, but you know what? It's a legit concern. About talking over each other, David Main says the great podcaster Joe Rogan makes all his guests wear headphones, and he says that when you're hearing your own voice in headphones, you won't talk over each other. Maybe try that, Fred. I'd rather like not having headphones. Paul, you a bath guy?
I don't
You
really
like taking
No,
baths?
I haven't taken a bath in
No?
The bath.
You don't go to
30
the Everett Bathhouse?
There is not an Everett bathhouse. There's no beach in Everett. So no bathhouse.
I thought there was a bathhouse in Everett.
No.
All the old guys sit around.
No, that's just the rest stop off
Hanging low.
128.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium. It's Evan, it's Deuce, it's Alex, and Fred, and Matt in the booth. Paul is on his annual Loser Palooza tour. This is the day where he takes a PTO just to watch the first round of the NCAA March Madness. So truly a Loser Palooza day for Paul, but he's been doing it since I've known him. And he and his friends get together, and I guess they drink beer and eat a lot. And, well, I don't know if Paul eats anymore, but certainly drinks beer, and they watch college basketball first round. So he takes tomorrow off, too, right?
I
mean,
Deal with
Yeah.
the hangover, or just because he loves it that much?
No, they're just losers, and they love it. Yeah.
It's one thing to take Friday in the off season off. We don't have to do shows or anything like that.
it's a tradition,
But to sit in front of the TV,
You could just do that and
right.
do
Paul
your
loves
job.
it though.
Yeah.
I mean, he talks about watching random basketball playoffs
It's
all the
unbelievable.
time. Like he loves that stuff.
He
so,
does,
you know.
and I'm not. We're making fun of him, but he
I would never make fun of you,
he
Paul,
like
ever.
sits and watches. Like I hear him watching like highlights of like some random basketball game.
Got his readers on. He like looks up like.
Well, you ever
What
been
are
to
you
those
doing?
Japanese restaurants where they're like cutting up?
Yeah.
That's him with
Hibachi?
the remote. Like he is so deft
Yeah.
with the remote. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It's a skill.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprised he doesn't have split screen at his house, because that would really, you don't even
Yeah.
have to flip. Like now you
Picture,
got
picture
PIP,
and stuff,
you know,
yeah.
picture in
Now,
picture.
now you're talking about technology.
I
A
know.
little bit too much
Ah.
technology there for him.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So we're here for the next 2 hours talking Patriots and whatever else. I will tell you that I have a pillow update. I have made a purchase. I will reveal that probably in the second half of the show. We'll talk about the pillow I purchased. Hasn't come yet, so I can't give you a review. I'll wait a month until I give you a review of it. But I can fill you in on what I ordered in the second half of the show.
We could do like an influencer thing, Fred, where you do a little vertical video of you doing your pillow review.
Hey guys, I just wanted to. Oh, I hate
Walk,
those.
don't run to the store to get this
I hate
pillow.
those.
You don't like
I hate
the
when they put
unboxing
those
video?
vertical things on TV. That makes me even more angry.
Yeah.
You know.
I think just the name influencer kind of annoys me. Like, who are you influencing? Like, it used to be like social media star, but it's influencer. They're influencing.
My wife's always watching TV, so it's always like, "Hey guys, I just found the best bra ever," and she's like dancing in her bra, and it's like, "Oh, jeez."
right. And then you see like this ad was paid for by Bras Incorporated. Whatever. Yeah. Now.
Well, that's like every TikTok and every Instagram reel now too. Like you don't even know it's an ad, but it's an ad.
No.
Yeah.
They're just
Evan's been doing some vertical video.
Yeah. I
have
a little
been.
Vertical
I
video
have been.
space.
YouTube short star.
and
TikTok star.
I like to sleep in the morning sometimes, but Jess is a pretty early riser most of the time, and so sometimes I'll just hear the scrolling, and it's like like beauty products or whatever, and she'll just be watching this video. Then she'll get mad though because like it's like multiple parts, and she's like, I can't find the other part. Like I don't know what what brand is it? I can't find it. And I'm like, okay, calm down.
I love the line like, I am obsessed with this product. Obsessed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now
I'm breaking into the vertical space.
I know we're already
We're gonna
going
get
off
Carter to
into
do some better
a
angles for you.
non-football tangent, but
It's not my-
I was
that's
thinking
not
on the
my
way
job.
here that we all complain about our algorithms. Why am I seeing that?
Yeah.
I
I
see
love
too
my
much of this.
algorithm.
Blah blah
my
blah.
algorithm's perfect for me.
I think whether it's X or Instagram or whoever or a new platform, I think people would love it if, in addition to the algorithm they set for you, you can have the controls to tweak your own algorithm.
Yeah, maybe reset it even.
Yeah. Now you're gonna see ads because that's how they make money, and I get that. So nothing is free in this world. But to be able to just tweak my algorithm, more of this, less of that, show me lesser known influencers, or like however it is, like maybe there's 100 different things I can do to tweak it. I think if people had that control, they would love that.
I love it.
And then you can switch back to the default if you want.
So I have an example right now. I got stuck somehow in the world of Titans uniform reveal Twitter, that I just was getting fed everything from the Titans uniform reveal. I don't know why it worked, but like at a certain point, I just want to see the uniforms. I don't need to see every piece of content that the
Right.
Titans produced and what every one of their fans seems to think, and that there was all kinds of controversies with their media members spilling the beans about it. But I love what we were saying, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, I need enough of this, and it just keeps giving it to me. So
Yeah.
I don't like it.
So I think
Algo reset.
I think if these platforms are worried about people spending not enough time on their platform, which I can't imagine, this would increase it even more.
Do you feel though the algorithm kind of holds a mirror up to you, and like you kind of learn things about it just
Some of
kind
them.
of like boils down I like
TikTok's algorithm tells me more about myself than I already knew. It tells me what I want before I knew what I want. Like TikTok, the algorithm, I don't know how they did it. It's perfect. It's too good. Instagram and Twitter's just sucks for me now.
I saw it as there was a Saturday Night Live sketch where they're all sitting around and the girls are like, hey, let's all look at Instagram's For You page, and all the girls are smiling, laughing, and the guys are all like, no, I'm not showing mine, because I mean,
Yeah.
we've done it before where I'm like, it's not like I'm skeevy on Instagram, but like for
Right.
somehow, if I pull that up, it's just all
Right,
girls,
right.
right?
Well, because they
Yeah.
With
you're
like a mix
guy.
of Patriots and a little bit of like sciatica.
They're like, eventually we'll get him eventually.
I plead,
He'll
I
click
plead
on
the
one of
fifth
these
on that
eventually.
one.
Why?
right?
Your Explore
You can't
page,
even
you're
talk
not
about
on
Come
it.
the
on,
show?
every single guy's For You tab
That's
is
not
like
true, because I've
every
put a guy
dude.
to the test and said like, oh yeah, show me the Explorer, and it was actually like, okay,
Every-
respect, tip my cap.
every guy get filtered in there somehow, and it's just, it is what it is. Like they know what they're doing. They know who they're targeting with those. types
Mine
of
right
things.
now is haircuts, 10 best sandwiches in the world, lymphatic drainage.
What? I
Having
don't
trouble
really.
with your lymph nodes.
I don't really Instagram, so
Yeah.
I only have an account because all the players have accounts. So just to keep tabs on
Just to DM them occasionally.
what
yeah.
they're doing. But I really only am only active on Twitter.
Yeah.
And that's it.
All right.
All right.
All right. So do we have any
Talking
Patriots
algo.
topics?
We signed a
Forged in
corner.
Foxborough.
Right. Right.
mean,
How could
the
I
big
forget?
Release. The big
The
release.
big release happened on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And you can watch that on YouTube or Patriots.com, which is YouTube embedded. But hour and a half. So people
Feature
are loving
film.
it. Of course, Greg Bedard is like, are they going for an Oscar here? It's like,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
you
Yes,
know.
you
Yeah.
were. Yeah,
Yes,
we
you are.
were. I mean,
Best picture.
no problem.
But so far everyone's loving it. Would love to hear what you think if you've already watched it or watched some of it or whatever. So yeah, that's out there.
I watched it right when it came out, and I watched the whole thing. Just a couple moments that stood out to me, though, and I think, talking with some people here yesterday, the moment with Mike Vrabel standing outside the locker room after the Super Bowl when he's alone, that moment, I think, and Paul, it really resonated for Paul, too. We were both just like, what a moment that was, because I could see the internal battle of him of trying to keep the guys up, and we have to deal with
I
this
think
together
he
and all
looked
that. but-
exhausted.
He did,
Yeah.
and I understand why. I mean, we didn't play any of the games, but you just feel that playoff.
Well, neither
run.
did he.
Right,
to be fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But just the grind of playoff games and the uncertainty of, well, we might be going to Denver next week. Well, we might be going to San Francisco in 2 weeks. It's so much, and you could see that moment to me was super cool. And I also, of course, like the hockey fight. Him putting
That was
up a
my
hockey
favorite
fight.
part.
You
Yeah.
know, like, all right, Braves, put some hockey up there. I love it.
I love how he was like narrating the hockey fight of the two players chirping each other. He's like, F you, F you, F you. And then they drop
That's
the
what
gloves.
the Patriots are gonna do.
Yeah, I love that Vrabel part as well. That might have been my favorite part. Not just like happy to see it, but just it was raw.
Yeah,
It was raw.
it's real.
It was emotional. It was truly behind the scenes kind of stuff. So I really like that.
I just watching him all last season. I'm like, how do you have this much energy on a daily basis?
Yeah.
And it's just every single day he was the same.
That energy drink that he would have
Yeah.
3 or 4 of a
yeah.
day.
But like he was up here every single day.
Yeah.
You never saw a single day all season long, and we saw him most days during the season where he seemed lethargic or not into it or not invested or anything
Even
of the
tired,
above.
like
Well,
you know. it
Yeah.
just-
Even the way it started, it started with the Pittsburgh loss, kind of so that they could show how far they've come. And that's the first time we saw the post locker room after that game, and him telling him like, "We're gonna have to eat this.
Yep.
As a
Yep.
team, we're all gonna have to eat it. We're gonna have to sit down and eat this, but we're gonna, we're not going anywhere." And you could see everybody listening, Stephon Diggs, everybody. So they listened then, and then you go full circle. I don't know if it was after the AFC Championship game or after one of the playoff games. Vrabel's talking. He says, "Listen to me," and they go to Milton Williams, and he's like, "I'm listening. I'm listening." And it's just like, he got their attention all year and kept their attention, and they believed in him. He got their trust.
Yeah, as a fan, that was what I enjoyed the most. I mean, first of all, there's just unfettered access to, and as I've said many times, that Belichick Football Life from 2009 season, I just loved hearing him talk to the team. I love hearing no filter between what the coach is saying, to the team and all that. But just such a fun to relive that season, because the thing that sucks is they lost the Super Bowl in pretty crappy fashion. And that has cast a little bit of a shadow over the offseason, and rightly so. The team that loses the Super Bowl, it stinks. It's a special kind of stinks, but
It
this
lingers
reminded
until
me,
the next season.
Yeah, this reminded me how special this season was, and the really cool chemistry that this team built. And what I find myself thinking is, it's got to be totally different next year. Like, there's not going to be the Warriors next year. There's a lot of those little pieces of the 2025 Patriots personality. They got to find it again, and I'm really interested to see that. And clearly Vrabel at the end of the Super Bowl we're just getting started. We've been playing we've only been in this program for 300 and however many days. So I don't know. I left that show feeling like it was a nice bookend to that season. But I'm excited to get going on next year and see what they're going to build in year 2 when they already have some of this in place. They're not starting exactly from the bottom again. They have pieces already that they can work with that know how it goes.
But it's important to, like you said, start over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's the most fascinating part to me about it is, like you said, Warriors that was a 2025 thing. Like, you're not going to use it again in 26. Some of the clips with Diggs, and just how much of a leader and how
That's
much
a great
of a
point.
presence.
Front
That's
row
a great
in every
point. It
meeting.
made me kind of think about, not sorry to cut you off, but like that was something that stood out to me. That was just like, they're gonna have to replace this energy, because he's clearly the guy getting everybody fired up before a lot of those games. Especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, but again, that's left in 2025.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Even obviously every time that he gets camera time, Garrett Bradbury is you can see how great of a guy Garrett Bradbury is. That's another one, maybe not on the energy level that Diggs is, but just in terms of his, kind of mentorship and all that kind of stuff. So you see like all these things, and that was that year's team. Like, that's they're not going to have that anymore.
Yeah.
There's so many scenes like that where like Tavai would be front and center of something. I'd be like, well, he's not here anymore. Diggs, he's not here anymore. Garrett's not here anymore. Like, it's just feel totally different.
Yeah, and it'll be fun to get to know the new guys.
Right.
What they all brought. Because I think last year, if you remember before the season, we had quite a few of the free agents come in and sit down here on this set, and we were impressed with almost every one of them.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any that we weren't impressed with.
No, especially Morgan Moses.
Morgan, I mean, Paul fell in love with him right from the get-go. But Carlton Davis came in here, Spillane came in. Like, every one of them, we were like, okay, this is a good guy. This guy, loves football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of confidence in Mike Vrabel as a head coach to get those things going again. I don't know what they'll be. I don't know what the unique things to the 2026 Patriots are going to be, but with Mike Vrabel's style and the way he connects with players, just hearing from Kevin Byard now, who said Mike was texting him through the season, just congratulating him. To Evan's point, so much on his plate, but he's still keeping an eye on his guys. So that to me is you got Drake and you got him. There's definitely challenges this year that are going to be new, but I like this team to face all of them.
Okay. Yeah, so that's Forge in Foxborough. Again, got released on Tuesday. It's on YouTube, the Patriots YouTube channel. You can get it through patriots.com or go to the Patriots X account, and you'll see it there. I think it might be pinned up there or something, but definitely you need to watch it. I think I can't promise you, but I can almost be certain that even with the way the season ended, you're going to have a good feeling after you watch this about the team.
Yeah.
You're going to have a good feeling about
especially
the team.
their leadership.
Yeah.
With the coaching staff, and I think the halftime from the Texans game, being in the locker room for halftime of a game, and I think we kind of know what Vrabel and Josh McDaniels bring to the table, but even seeing Zach Core coach a little bit. In it, I thought was really cool as a guy that's a little bit more of a newer face and a younger coach that hasn't been in that position until last year. You expect Josh McDaniels and Mike Vrabel to bring a certain confidence and energy to him, but seeing how Zach Core, coached a team in a playoff game in a very big spot was really cool. I don't know if I've ever seen halftime during a game footage like that before from any team, or Hard Knocks, or maybe Hard Knocks in season. But
I didn't even know we had that access.
Yeah, not
until
that I
watched
can
it.
remember. No,
I was just going to make the same point. I think first time I've ever seen a halftime speech. I thought it was interesting though, because you see how it's kind of a scramble, and a lot of times teams talk about like halftime adjustments, and a lot of times it's just like, fellas, we gotta keep doing what we're doing. Get out. It's not like, all right, we're gonna change. Like, they don't have that much time, but love the Josh stuff too. Loved just getting a sense for how do they get ready before the game. We don't ever kind of see the last moments of the coaches kind of giving their final points of emphasis. Josh saying, I promise you it's going to come down to the end. And, he's just got so many great little bits of insight. He has so much experience that, it just reinforced for me what a great partner he is with Drake May to kind of navigate him through these early seasons of his career. And, just understanding how these games go. Josh has seen every kind of game there is, and he knows, it's such a huge part of football, not riding the wave of the, when the other team makes some plays. And, as fans, I think, especially on Twitter, you see the other team comes out and they make 3 plays, they go down the field and they score a touchdown, and everyone's like, that's it, we stink. When you realize as a player, you can't exist like that. You have to be even keeled and be ready to play the whole game and make plays at the end.
Yep. Next play. Couple of criticisms of me. Cam from Belmont, Mass. I've heard you guys read emails about talking over each other a few times now, and then Fred starts to scold everybody around the room. It drives me crazy when Fred does this, because Fred is easily the worst offender of talking over everyone. The amount of times he interrupts people mid-sentence to start yapping drives me up a wall more than anything else in the show, except for maybe Evan's allergy to fun.
Wow. No, I wear that as a badge of honor.
Yeah. Alex from Lunenburg. When there are 5 people in the studio, Fred looks like a hobbit compared to the 2 on the other end. Alex usually sits on the other end and looks huge, but today she looks normal sitting next to Fred. Do you guys use a wide-angle lens or something similar to the camera to create the distortion?
I agree. It's an
I thought we were gonna
unflattering
work on
angle
that.
when I'm over there.
Our new studio engineer pointed out that it looked weird after the last show, and I thought they were going to work on that.
Oh, really? Like wide angle concept?
Matt said thumbs up. I guess
Yeah?
they didn't. Yeah, because it still looks distorted.
That's just because Deuce and I are just,
Well,
buff.
it's funny because I'm seeing us here, and I kind of look big in this one, but then you look at like the Vrabel interview, and I look like the Hobbit next to Vrabel.
Well, I mean,
But that's actual.
Right.
yeah, we all look like hobbits next to him.
We have a scheduled meeting to get it fixed tomorrow at 9.
Oh, so we haven't worked on it.
No, we haven't worked on it yet. I gave you the
Okay,
thumbs
you
up
gave
as
me a
it's
thumbs
going
up.
to
I
get
thought
worked
that
on.
meant
It's in process.
Okay.
in
So
process.
next week I won't look like a hobbit. I'll look like.
As long as you're gonna look like this
I'll look
giant,
like an orc.
King Fred.
You're more just going to be centered.
They're just gonna come in with like an apple box and put it under
Yeah.
you.
Right.
You sit in a booster seat,
How you like me
kind of
now?
a high chair.
Anthony has a forged comment about Barmore. I never realized how important Barmore was as far as leadership goes.
Yeah,
He seems to be a strong voice for the defense. Obviously, he's a great player, but seeing him motivate the team further proves his value. Was anyone else as surprised as I was to see him so vocal?
Yeah.
I feel like Barmore never.
Yeah, no, it felt like he was in his element. Like,
Yeah.
I think he's out of his element when you're
No.
trying to like press conference him, but when he can just go nuts before a game and he's feeling it, that was Barmore through and
I've
through.
definitely seen that side of him. He actually during pregame he usually leads the D-line huddle and is the guy in the middle. He's just so intense
Yeah.
and he cares so much about winning that he just wears that emotion all on his sleeve. Like he's that kind of guy. He gets really intense on game day. Like really.
So does Milton Williams
deep.
too. There's like a good combination where
Yeah.
Barmore's a little louder, but Milton Williams is just that you can see it in his eyes throughout that whole thing. I mean, what a player he was this year.
Yeah. So, all right, good stuff. Again, if you have any comments about Forge, this is the place to talk about it. Email or call 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast at patriots.com is the email address. What else?
Signed a cornerback.
Oh yeah.
Kindle.
Kindle Vidal.
Where,
Yeah,
where is he
Yeah,
from?
Kindle Vildor.
he was with Tampa last year,
Yeah, he's been
right?
kicked around a little bit.
Yeah,
he was
depth
briefly with
signing.
Vrabel. I think he's been on 4 different teams. So
Briefly
Uh,
with Terrell Williams too.
yeah, some cornerback depth. Yeah, they're kind of continuing to round things out, but it feels for the most part the big moves in free agency are probably kind of done. I mean, guys like
Big
Diggs, not connecting him to the Patriots necessarily, but some of those guys I feel like will wait, see how the draft goes, and then teams might rejigger
Yeah.
and say we didn't get a guy we want. Let's get
You know,
somebody
you,
like
you
Diggs.
can't help but just bring up again the advantage that Vrabel has over what Mayo had to deal with in his first year. He didn't have that network of players that he
Or
worked with from
coaches.
other teams,
Yeah.
or so he was at such a disadvantage
Yeah.
in that first year, and you can see the difference. Like he's Vrabel is constantly bringing in people that he's familiar with, whether they're coaches or players, and you say, well, why can't he look beyond that? Why should you? If you know a guy and you know what he can do, and you know how exactly you want him to fit into your team, go get him.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
get him.
Es-
Why
especially-
overthink it?
Especially for the role player.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, like Alex Austin leaves for Miami, and Kindle Vidal kind of profiles similarly as good athlete that can play on special teams, do some things in the kicking game, be a depth corner, 4th or 5th cornerback, like that sort of role, which is what they kind of lost with Alex Austin. So when they look at like the back end of the roster, if you know this guy, you're familiar with this guy, he fits the scheme, he fits the system. That's different. Like last year, they had no connection to Milton Williams, but he's a stud.
Right.
So they just went out and got him.
Money
Maybe
talks in that scenario.
maybe like a little bit of a Green Bay thing, but like Romeo Dobbs, I would say was kind of similar, that they didn't really have a ton of familiarity with him going into it, but top free agent type of player, and they went out and paid him. So they do go outside
Oh,
the
of course
box.
they do. But
Yeah.
but like you said, for those role players, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the top of the roster is different. The bottom of the roster, we do see a lot of retreads and guys that have been with Mike Vrabel.
I love the Byard move. I mean, his relationship with Vrabel has been obvious since this season when he talked about him, compared him to Hunter Henry. I'm excited to watch him play. I mean, anytime they get one of these guys, I mean, it was Diggs last year, that you've always known is really talented in the league, and then you get an opportunity to spend 5 weeks watching them in training camp and joint practices and all that. It's cool to see special players who, especially someone like Byard, who I'm curious to see just his impact pre-snap and communication and
Yeah.
it's just all
He
the
seems like a really smart guy.
leadership and everything that he's going to bring and how he's going to affect Craig Woodson. I'm really excited about that move.
yeah, Jordan agrees with you. He's talking about Forge and Foxborough and the influence Diggs had, but he said May, Moses, Gonzalez, Henry are all leaders, but all quiet confidence types. Byard will be a leader and captain of the defense, but what about the offense? So he thinks
Yeah.
Byard's going to be a captain.
Yeah.
It's just my opinion, but Drake trying to lead the guys feels a bit awkward and forced. So who do you see stepping up into Diggs' role?
That's a great question.
On the
I mean,
offense.
it's exactly what I was thinking when Diggs was doing it. I mean, and to the point, everybody doesn't have to be Mr. Rah, rah guy, like, and it is hard when someone feels forced with it. But I think that's a great question. I feel a little bit like not a total apt comparison, but when they drafted Gronk, and you could tell the team was kind of stagnant and flat in that 09 loss to Baltimore, and it felt like they needed an injection. Not exactly the same as I feel about this team now, but when you saw Gronk come out on that stage, you're like, this is what they need. They need this kind of energy. I wonder if there's somebody who, could potentially bring that, because it doesn't really seem like there's an open opportunity right now for a veteran or somebody who's got that kind of voice to come in and slip into a roster spot and play like Diggs did. It seems like you're kind of set.
I'm less concerned about like the speeches and like doing all that stuff, but there was a certain gravitas towards Stephon Diggs when he walked into that locker room. And I think we saw the wide receiver room improve significantly. And I think his hand in just setting a tone of, elite play at the top kind of made everybody else a little bit better and fall in line and do a little bit more within their roles. So, last year their wide receiver room just kind of overachieved across the board, not just Stephon Diggs, but Matt Collins and Kayshon Boutte and go down the line. And those guys, I think, fed off of like the star power that was Stephon Diggs, not so much necessarily the speeches and the sideline and stuff. But
I think Matt Collins does give you that, but you're right.
I would
like,
agree.
Stephon Diggs comes in an
He's
elite
Stephon
wide
Diggs.
receiver. He's Diggs, like the reputation precedes him.
His intensity too in that Forest in Foxborough. Like, I mean, we've seen it, glimpses of it. I thought it was a little bit more sustained in this episode of the show, but you could tell how much he cared, you know, and that's
front row
like,
in every meeting,
just,
like leaned in, locked in.
Which game was it? It might have been after, I forget which game Vrabel gave him the game ball, but like you could just see how much it mattered to him. And I think that's such a big part of why
the Bills game, maybe.
He's such an intense player and why he was as good as he is. And kind of like why I didn't like him when he was playing for the Bills, because he was so competitive and you feel it. Like, this guy wants to win at all costs. And that's what they need more of. I mean, I agree with your point though, Ev, like, you don't necessarily, we got to find a rah-rah speech guy. Like, where is he? Like, you hope it happens organically. But I just do wonder if there's a voice that arises that everybody
to
is
me,
like,
it's like a swagger.
Yeah.
And because I kind of think the voice thing is a little overrated.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know if that's necessary. But there's a swagger to a receiver that has the star power of Stephon Diggs. Yeah. Thank you. Aura of Stephon Diggs that I don't know if they currently have. Now, if they trade for a certain receiver from Philadelphia, that aura kind of comes back walking through the door. And I think that's one of the appeals of doing it.
Yeah.
Is just like having one of those guys that is a star.
It when your best players are your best leaders, it always helps. And what Dante Scarnecchia said years ago, like, when did you know that early Patriots team was going to be good? And he said, when we started to self-police. When the locker room self-policed itself. And that, whether it's Willie McGinnis or Rodney Harrison or Brady himself, when your best players are your influencers, are your leaders, then the rest of the locker room falls in place. And you hope to get to there.
Yeah. I wonder with team building how much you take that into account. But I agree with everything that Ev said. Confidence with A.J. Brown, though, just walking into a building to play a game and you got A.J. Brown.
Planet players,
you got an injection of
you need those types of guys.
All right. Anything else before we
No, we put out the latest draft countdown episode yesterday, and we're continuing to bang those out. I talked to Field Yates today for a little interview, so he had some good thoughts on free agency. From
How's
the Patriots.
Field Yates doing?
He seems like he's doing great.
Yeah, okay.
He looked great.
Good.
Handsome as ever.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Good
him.
head of
Joking.
hair.
Some people just have it all,
Good head of hair.
No, he's really gracious. He's always willing to help us out, so I appreciate him coming on and that good stuff. So those episodes will be out every Wednesday up until the draft, and then we'll do another live show early afternoon of round one as we get ready. But the thing Field talked about that I think we're all aware of is, because he was saying 31 is probably desirable for maybe a team who wants to trade up just a little bit just to get that fifth-year option maybe on somebody. So he said, there's going to be some calls for that pick, and imagine us all sitting there all night. And they're out of there.
They moved out.
It was like Duggar,
just
too.
the way that it's set up to, like, if they get caught in that sort of gap between runs of positions that they might be interested in it, I could see them trading down in a draft like this where it might be a little bit too high for one of the edge rushers or one of the receivers, but all the really good ones are already off the board, and you're kind of stuck in between the middle of the runs there. So I don't think it's out of the realm. And I keep bringing up the Ty Simpson thing. Like, if somebody wants to come up and get him as a quarterback, that's not going to take a quarterback in the top 10 because there's only one to take in Mendoza, then makes a lot of sense for a team like, Arizona, for example, or someone like that to come up and take a quarterback there with that 5th-year option and all that
Especially
stuff.
as like a developmental guy that you've got that extra year to develop him. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll see you at about 11:30 on Thursday night.
Yeah. Richard writes in from Charleston, South Carolina. He said, I sent an email last March seeking engagement advice. I'm thrilled to share that I'm getting married this Saturday.
Nice.
I was wondering if the PU crew had any day of advice or marriage advice. Thanks a bunch. Go Pats.
My advice on the marriage thing is just enjoy the wedding, every moment of it, because it's going to go by in 4 seconds, and it's this weird one night in your life where all the people that you know and care about are in one place, and you're going to have like little 5-minute conversations with everybody from all walks of life. And it was just such a blur for me that we were getting into, they played, I forget what song it was, but anyway, we like went out, we got in the car and we were off to like, for wedding night, and it's like, holy crap, like it's over. We spent like a year planning this thing, and it's like, boom, and you leave everybody behind, but just enjoy it. Enjoy it. And try to eat before, because it's hard. It's hard to, at least that was my experience.
So that's the actual wedding day.
Yeah, wedding. Marriage.
What about marriage advice? You're not married.
Evan?
You just got married.
What have you
so
learned
You
in
have no
year
advice.
Clean your beard hair out of the sink.
I don't know. I don't know his situation, but Jess and I were living together for a while before we even got married. So, to be honest with you, not a whole lot has changed within our household. I don't know.
Do the dishes. I think that I find that to be a great thing to just
okay,
help out around the house.
That's a good one.
Chip in with the dishes need to be done. Hop in there.
Well, yeah,
it's a good way to keep.
I would say
the peace.
The way to help your marriage along the way is be okay with saying I'm sorry or I'm wrong, even if you're not. I'm serious. Just say it. Even if sometimes you don't even think you are sorry or that you are wrong, just say it anyway.
Yeah,
I
think
it anyway.
It's some advice that I've heard is that sometimes women don't want the man to solve the problem; they just want you to listen and be supportive. Yeah. And our instinct as males is to like, well, here's the answer. Just do this, and they're like, I don't want to hear that right now. I just want you to listen.
Yeah,
that's something I've
because
learned.
my instinct, like whether it's my son or is to solve the problem.
Right.
You know, you're telling me something that's wrong. Okay, well,
just do this.
What do you want me to do?
Right.
And that's not what they're talking about.
Yeah, it takes a little while. I mean, this will be my 19th wedding anniversary in a couple weeks. So,
look at you guys.
Yeah, look at us. It's going strong.
We'll be 1. So we're on our way to 19.
Check.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good.
All right. Well, congratulations on your wedding on Saturday. Good stuff. All right. 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. By the way, NFL Network's doing a bracket on I don't know, bad plays or I don't know, whatever it is. But one of them that made the bracket was that Raiders game.
The fail lateral.
The fail lateral. But the tackle attempt by Mac Jones on the interception, oh, my God, was that feeble.
Oh, boy.
You wanted him to tackle Chandler Jones?
Come on. He was right in front of him. He didn't even try. It was ridiculous.
What do you mean he didn't try? He did try. He got run over by a guy in a train track.
No. It's not like Chandler Jones had a running start. It was like right in front of him.
Chandler Jones.
Like go down, get his legs,
Jones
grab his
boys are
ankle, do something.
Jeez. I think that's a little hard.
I don't.
Mac.
He's 290-pound defensive lineman.
Just get on the ground and grab his ankle until somebody can come
He tried.
No,
he got run over.
Did you watch it? Did you see the?
I've seen him. No, I've never seen that play.
Okay. Well, maybe you need a refresher.
If we ever get caught in sometimes we have those weird moments where like Josh McDaniels just waiting to go into the studio and we're all just kind of sitting there for a minute. Like I would love to just hear like what do you think about that? Like, and although like I know Jacoby Myers took like responsibility for it, but people forget, like, Ramondre started it.
Yeah.
And so, like, was there ever any mention of lateral? Did, like, Ramondre just, like, freelance that one? Like, why did he freelance
Well, that's what he said after that. I remember. I mean, I vividly remember. And I was sitting there in the press conference after the game, and Ramondre was like, this is also like, this is my fault. Like, I'm the one that lateraled it to him. And he was like, once I lateraled it to him, he probably was thinking, I guess we're doing this. And
Right,
like, so
right. That's exactly what my mind. I guess we're doing this.
Yeah, right.
But did anyone ever, did offensive coordinator Matt
no.
Patricia ever mention it?
No.
Like, you know, like, was there, like.
He insisted at the time that he knew the score, but I am convinced that he did not know the score. Like, I really think he thought that they were.
It was a tie game, yeah.
And that's like the only explanation that makes any sort of sense, to throw it backwards to your quarterback, who is not mobile. So like, what is Mac, even if he catches the ball, what is he gonna do with it? He can't throw it forward again. So
like, what was going through Mac's head? Like, one lateral, he's like, wait, what? Wait, what?
Oh,
No.
Deer in headlight. Poor kid.
I just don't know what else you would do. So yeah, they were just.
What's the matter? Is your
His mic just went off.
I'm not talking for you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. While we're doing that, let's go to the phones, 855-PATS-500. We'll go to Zach in New Hampshire. What's up, Zach?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Hey, so have you watched Forge in Foxborough yet?
I've watched the first hour. I haven't finished.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So far, what do you think?
I'm loving it so far. It's definitely hitting all the needs for the off season when you're lacking football.
Okay, well, you can continue now then. Okay, go ahead.
So I was just wondering if the draft was today, would you guys rather stay at pick 31, trade up for a guy you really like, or trade the pick for an established player?
What would I rather do? I mean,
What was the first?
Stay,
kind
trade
of
up,
need
trade
to know
down.
who the players are that are involved here. Like, who's still on the board when I'm at 31?
Yeah,
you know,
we Deuce and I are going to be doing our first mock drafts. I think probably next week, right? And I just, without knowing what is real with this AJ Brown stuff, it's just kind of impossible. And like, they only are the only ones that know if they're going to trade for AJ Brown in June. It just changes the entire approach to the draft. Like, you know, in terms of pass catchers, receivers, especially, but. I don't know. It's hard to say right now what exactly they would do at 31 because there's so much up in the air.
I don't want to trade down and get more picks. So I either want to stay where we are or trade every 6th and 7th round pick we have plus the first to move up.
Yeah. Would you call me
have
crazy
4 of them,
if I pitched the case to trade up for Sadiq? Like, you know, like
No.
a tight end that clearly could have a role right out of the gate, could add something to the offense. He's the first name that came to mind. Otherwise, a lot of the positions I don't. Like, especially when I look at who goes in, you know, 24 to 31, like, not a lot of guys that I'm like, oh, you know, I don't know. So I like some of the edges, but I also like some of the later ages. You know, as much as I like a Cassius Howell, like R. Mason Thomas is also very appealing to me. You know, different weaknesses, of course, and different things to consider. But Sadiq's one that I would love because he stands alone among the tight end group, and I think he would make an immediate impact and just give a jolt to the offense that I think it needs.
I do wonder, one of the things that we were talking about yesterday on Catch 22, because Barth did a whole deep dive into like recent trades involving the picks that the Patriots currently have, and he was looking at trades up from their 2nd round pick to like the fringe top 50 to like move back up, because I think at 31. You know, we were talking about it off the air, like Blake Miller, Ianachor. Like, it makes a lot of sense to get that next right tackle into the building, and you're probably not going to get that if you don't draft it in the 1st round. But then you don't really have, like, a splash for this year. Like, you didn't really make a immediate impact. So I've been, like, kind of tinkering around with, well, could they draft the tackle of the future on the right side at 31 and then trade back up from 65 to, let's say, 50 and get, you know, an edge rusher or a receiver if they have to get a receiver, something like that, and make your kind of splash in that direction.
Let's go to Herm in D.C. Herm, have you watched Forge in Foxborough?
You know it. As soon as it came out.
What do you think?
It was amazing. So I love the part about, and that's how I know Coach Vrabel is the guy for us, because when he showed him the clip about, you know, gloves off with the hockey guys fighting, that just shows how he's implemented the right mentality into a football team. And then also I had to Google Shirley Temple because I'm not a big drinker, so there might be something I can drink moving forward when we go out.
It's non-alcoholic, right?
Right.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not a drinker. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Anyway, quick
I thought
question
you meant
for
you
you
just
guys.
didn't drink a lot.
No, I don't really drink like that. But anyway, so I feel like there's been obviously a lot of conversation about, number one wide receiver, yada, yada, yada. And to me, I feel like it's been a little bit overblown. Because I looked up this morning, obviously Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Megatron, Chris Carter, all these guys never won a ring, right? So my question to you is it really necessary to have a quote-unquote number one receiver to consistently win Super Bowls if you have that guy at obviously the most important position, which I know we have in Drake May?
Yeah, no, I think the answer to your question is no, you don't necessarily need a number one if you've got that guy at quarterback.
Okay, well, counter. Jackson Smith and Jigba. A.J. Brown.
What about
Cooper Kupp?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
No, but of course, there's a million ways to win a Super Bowl.
I'm just naming the most.
You have to have a number one. That's the question.
I'm just naming the most recent Super Bowl winners.
Okay.
So when we go back to Randy Moss and Terrell Owens and
so who
Chris
was the
Carter,
number one on Seattle?
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a big factor in the game.
Well, was he?
Right.
Well,
his gravity.
I don't. Maybe
the way they had to defend him because he's on the field.
Can you name teams that don't necessarily had number ones that won Super Bowls
20 years ago?
So none now.
I mean, not in the last
19 Patriots.
The 18 Patriots had Gronk. The 20 Bucks had Mike Evans.
Well, I mean, they all have. Every team has.
Mike Evans
good wide receiver, but he just rattled off Hall of Famers
20 years ago.
Yeah.
All due respect, I'm not trying to be snarky. I just
okay.
I just we're talking about like Megatron's in the Hall of Fame already. Like he retired a while ago. I think if you go back to,
but Mike Evans isn't going to be a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely is.
You think so?
1,000 yards for like 10 straight years in a row. He's the NFL record. Mike Evans, Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Yeah. 100%.
See, I'm tougher on the Hall of Fame.
100% a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Small Hall.
20.
Small Hall.
Like if you go to like, I would say maybe like the 18 Patriots, because Gronk was kind of slowing down, but Julian Edelman is the MVP of the game. And then the 17 Eagles, maybe I guess you could make a case like didn't have like,
Aguilar.
It was Alshon Jeffrey was on that team, right? Was like kind of their top guy. But the last like 4 or 5 Super Bowl winners, really, I would say since like 2020, and even not just the winners, it's also the teams that they played in the Super Bowl too. Like the Bucks in 2020 beat the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce at their peak. 2021 was Rams Bengals. Look at the Bengals receiving core on the other side of the ball. Just go on down the line. Like all these teams have that sort of guy.
Evan, but Evan.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second, sir. Because you just named obviously a 5-year sample size, right? Over 4 teams that I guess in your opinion have a quote unquote number one wide receiver that won Super Bowls. But the NFL is 50 years old, right? So what about the other 45 years?
Well, I think Evan's point is the game has evolved.
Yes.
And so let's just take the last 10 years. It has been, the rule changes and everything else has really skewed toward scoring points and, having the great quarterback. And Evan's saying he's contending that also having the great wide receiver.
I just think that you have to have a great passing game. And I think it's really difficult.
Well, okay, but that's different.
I think it's really difficult to have a great passing game if you don't have a coverage dictating receiver. If you don't have somebody like a Jackson Smith and Jigba, like let's just take this Super Bowl as like sort of a case study. Is Kenneth Walker the MVP if the Patriots are keying Kenneth Walker instead of keying Jackson Smith and Jigba? And like the way that they had to game plan Seattle's offense, knowing that they had a guy like JSN, that just changes the whole complexion of how you scheme up an offense. And then what happens in the Super Bowl is they go a little bit lighter to put Gonzalez on JSN, and all of a sudden Kenneth Walker goes off and has an MVP performance.
It also took like the best game of Gonzo's career.
Yeah,
to contain JSN.
Right, and so there's just I think if you look, to the point of the game of evolving, I think in the last, let's call it 5 to 8 Super Bowls, both teams have been pretty loaded when it comes to playmakers on the offensive side.
But I also say, like, the last 2 years, the quarterbacks haven't necessarily been elite. I mean, Sam Darnold, Jalen Hurts, it's so long we spent, like, you have to have the quarterback. I think, to Evan's point, A.J. Brown, JSN, that offsets some of maybe the shortcomings of the quarterback. But I just think the Patriots have shown us through their interest of pretty much every single one of these guys, Ayuk, Calvin, et cetera, all those guys that have come available, that they think you need it. But I think a lot of this is through fantasy football and just the term wide receiver one. You want great players. You want great players. You want, and it's hard to find them, though. Sometimes you're lucky enough to draft them in the top 10. Sometimes you got to go and be aggressive. I think the Patriots understand it, but I just don't think it precludes you from being a Super Bowl contender if you don't have that. But
No,
you probably
I
have to make up for it with the
You have to,
quarterback.
obviously.
Yeah, but only guy that's done it is Mahomes. So, like, if we think that Drake May is going to be as good as Patrick Mahomes was 2 years ago to make up for the fact that he kind of didn't have Tyreek Hill anymore, kind of had a slowing down Kelsey, it's kind of like Brady in 18, right? Like, if you're going to think that Drake May is going to elevate to that kind of level, then yeah, they would be fine. But all these other teams that we're talking about that have been in the Super Bowl the last 4 or 5 years have been loaded.
Well, one of the things that we heard in Forged was when they were talking to the analyst, what's the tight end from Carolina, who's now the
Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen. He said that, getting to the playoffs, you got to be scoring points in this league. But once you get to the playoffs, all the teams are really good, and defenses start to, get the edge a little bit. So you can have that great wide receiver, but you better have another answer once you get to the playoffs.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I mean, Vrabel,
Seattle did.
Yeah, from some of Vrabel's comments of pointing out, like, these are real teams now. Like, even he was kind of acknowledging that they hadn't played a lot of the iron yet and that's what they were going to get. I get it. It just hangs over everything, and that's what I think is annoying. It's just, that, again, that's all anybody wants to talk about is having the number one wide receiver, and, like, it just gets annoying.
But listen, having great talent on your team helps.
Yeah, of course.
I don't care what the positions are, and obviously at wide receiver, it's huge if you have that coverage dictating guy that draws attention, frees up other guys.
I mean, is there something to be said, though, too? And I was thinking about this, the game of chess, everybody's got the same weapons. There aren't as a number one. It's you have the same pieces, and there are certain people that are chess masters. So is there a corollary to Drake May in this Josh McDaniels system where it's all on the quarterback pre-snap to understand what they're doing and how to, attack it? I'm not going to say that he's Tom Brady or that he'll reach the level of Tom Brady, but I think the whole purpose of this offense is to have a quarterback who can navigate when we don't have a number one wide receiver, that we can still be productive schematically because we can beat teams with our mind. I think I'd love to hear Tom Brady's impression of this. Clearly, he had the greatest season of his career with Randy Moss, but he also had an MVP season thrown to the ghost of Deion Branch and Wes Welker.
So let's say the Patriots had somebody as good as, a number one receiver as good as Seattle had. Would they have won that game?
They have won that game.
They could have
protected Drake. I don't know. Yeah, the trenches were such a mismatch that probably not. But I don't think that was their problem. I mean, they had Diggs, so like I think they had a guy that was doing that sort of thing. So I don't necessarily think they were deficient in that area. But I just think when you think of the game from when a defense like turns on the tape of the Patriots on a Monday or a Tuesday and is starting to prepare for them on Sunday. Like when you start to look at hierarchy of who do we need to take out to win this game, when you don't have that kind of guy that is, drawing double teams or drawing number one corners and all that kind of stuff, it just that trickle down effect is really massive to a way a defense can game plan you. And I think that you see a lot of these different teams like that. It's why we so often see teams lead the league in rushing or near the top of the league in rushing that have dangerous passing games. Because that's what defenses are devising to take away, and then it opens up the running game because they've got two safeties over the top of the defense the entire time. So I don't know. I think it's hard to look at the success of the league the last 5 or so years and not see that all of it is stemming from these types of things.
And the Patriots' interest in all these guys. I mean, we'll go right down the line. We've done. I mean, that signals to me that they understand it too. I think I just get fed up with the number one and what deems a number one. And, that's like Sadiq. I'm not saying he's going to be a number one, but like all of a sudden you've got a real beast move tight end that you can play with. But it's just, I know we got Eldred on the line. How long has Eldred been calling in looking for a number one wide receiver? We're on year 15 at least.
I was just going to ask you guys, I don't know if I remember as much, but the years where Gronk was kind of slowing down or where he missed a season, were people calling for a wide receiver one when we had Edelman?
Always.
On the outside, especially.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. There was a long, Terrell Owens is coming out of retirement to save us. I remember
Larry Fitzgerald's still at the Hurts counter.
Still at the Hurts counter.
And I get it. I don't have a block, though, if they don't have a number one wide receiver that I don't believe in the team. And I think a lot of people look at it as they don't have a number one wide receiver. They're dead in the water.
Well, I think people get hung up on, if you don't have a number one wide receiver, it doesn't guarantee you can't win. But if you don't have a number one wide receiver, it guarantees it
won't get fooled again.
You can't win without it. You know what I mean? It doesn't guarantee that you will win, but you can't win without it.
Yeah.
So I think people get hung up on that.
I just think those teams like that you're talking about, Alex, like Gronk was such a force multiplier that he was just, run game, pass game, like his blocking ability, like that was in itself just a
dominant
behemoth to deal with in every sort of way. So like when teams, got to the Patriots, it was middle of the field. It was Gronkowski. It was Edelman. It was taking away those types of throws was like the emphasis of how to defend them all the time. And all of us were always clamoring, well, if you had the guy on the outside, Bill, then,
But even with Edelman and with Gronk or whoever else, if you don't have Brady or someone who can see the field, then they're not as effective.
Yeah. I just remember like Malcolm Mitchell in the Super Bowl. It was just one-on-one all day out there, and they just kept throwing him the comebacks, and he just kept catching him in front of the corner because all of the attention was in the middle of the field, trying to flood the middle of the field. And like if they had Randy Moss for a longer runway, they would have been putting up 50 touchdown passes a year like they did in 07.
That's my dream. That's my dream for my time in this job is that they draft a stud wide receiver, and then Willem and Phillum can call in, and Eldred, and they can espouse.
Poor William. I worry about William.
This is like the same thing. We're always looking for one. Just one. Give me one.
All right. So I know Eldred wants to probably chirp in on this subject.
Go, Eldred.
So let's go, Eldred. What do you got?
Hey, Alex. Hey, fellas. How y'all doing?
Hey, Eldred.
All right.
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm cleaning my car. But that caller, are you crazy? Are you crazy about a number one wide receiver? Let me run it down to you. In the 70s, Pittsburgh Steelers, Lynn Swann, John Stallworth. In the 80s, the 49ers, Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Rice.
Hey!
I'm with you.
Throw me the ball.
Don't listen to them, Eldred. Don't listen to them. Keep going. You cook, man.
And Taylor. Okay. In the 80s, the triplets. You had Urban and you had
90s.
Opera on the other end. Yeah, that's 90s. Excuse me.
I'm just trying to help him.
During the rest of the years, you got a one wide receiver. New England didn't have him because Bill wouldn't give it to Brady. He did it with Tucker toys where everybody else had Porsches in the driveway. But he did win, and it was stopping the middle of the field. And I've been housed for 15 years. Give me somebody on the outside. And nobody's like, at first, Fred, y'all said, no, we just need somebody in the middle. And every year, they draft the same people every darn year. Somebody in the middle, whether he's short, small, faster, or slower. And I'm like, get tired of that. Because the only thing defense got to do is stop the middle. Because they ain't worried about nobody on the outside. This year, when we went to the Super Bowl, and we played better defenses, especially Seattle, they wasn't worrying about Diggs, that much. They weren't worrying about the other wide receivers because they could cover them. They was taller, faster, and meaner. And you need somebody to dictate that coverage. Did everybody else open up? Everybody else eat. Like the people did from the 70s to the 90s. And that's why I'm saying we need that outside. And get Browser at 31 because he won't be there at 50.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Thanks, Eldred.
Great call, Eldred.
Yep. Okay. He goes back.
Please, just save us, Chris Brazo. Please. Just make it happen. I can't do it anymore. We got a number one.
Fidel in Tampa, what do you got to say?
Hey, guys. I'm going to piggyback on Eldred's call 1,000%. I'll be happy with A.J. Brown, but from the price of everything going on with like Jalen Waddle, it sounds like it's going to take a first-round pick plus to get him. And to be honest, I like A.J. Brown a lot. I'd rather take a bigger swing. I really would love for us to get I know it's out of the park, but like a Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase, and Nico Collins.
Same.
Someone who has a lot more years and time. Like if we can take 2 first-round picks and trade it, like that was my biggest gripe when we had Brady, and Belichick never surrounded him with a lot of elite weapons. I mean, we had Moss for those 2 years and Gronk, but Gronk was barely on the field half the time sometimes. And like if he was on the field in 11, we would have won against the Giants the second time around.
Or healthy,
So,
Yeah, he was on the field, but I know what he's saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Physically.
Yeah, so like
he-
if we're going to
he's
take a
in
swing,
spirit.
I'd rather take that huge swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're not.
The biggest thing.
I hear what you're
Yeah.
saying, but like they're not trading
Thanks,
for
Fidel.
Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. Like it's
Right.
let's not live in silly land.
I mean, that's what sums it
I
up.
mean, when's
for
the
me.
last time you saw a deal like that in the NFL for a number one,
A.J. Brown.
a great wide receiver?
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown?
Yeah,
Those
but
two?
like those guys, they're not trading Justin Jefferson.
What did
or
Philly
Jamar
give up
Chase.
for A.J. Brown? I forget.
First and a third.
First and a third.
Yeah.
But there were some mitigating factors there, right?
Well, his contract was up, and he was reaching the end of his rookie contract, and the Titans were at an impasse of pay him on his second contract or trade him, and they.
But didn't he also have the off-field stuff?
AJ Brown?
No.
Tyreek Hill. Oh, that's a different
yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
I was talking about AJ Brown.
Oh no, AJ Brown is different. I'm talking about Tyreek Hill.
Oh yeah, Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill.
Head case.
Head case. Yeah, but he also was due for a big payday, and Kansas City, as Paul, wants to spend billionaires' money. They decided that they're going to spread their resources out and allocate it across the roster instead of paying 30+ million for Tyreek Hill.
All right, good stuff. Good conversation. We're going to have more of it after the break, and I will reveal what pillow I went with because I know everyone is waiting for that information. All right, we'll be right back.
Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
The heaviest metal credit card of all time. Wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move? Having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
You think makes him a great coach, or what else do you think makes him such a good coach?
I just think it's just who he is. I think it's first and foremost I think the pedigree that he comes in with. Obviously winning a bunch of Super Bowls here, especially when he's in Tennessee, like that's the first thing you kind of already gives him credibility of what he's saying. Because obviously, he knows how to get it done. He knows what it takes. He knows what it looks like. So it's very easy to buy in that aspect. So, but also then it's just, being a leader, but then also being very personable. I think he does a great job of trying to develop relationships with everybody, your family, knows your kids' names and stuff like that. Because I think personally, just being a coach, it's very easy, or it's easier to be able to get more out of a player when the player knows that you actually care about. You know what I mean? Like, I think that sometimes we know this business is transactional in a way. Like this, it is a business, but at the same time, this is the human business. And I think when you can develop a relationship with somebody on a personable level, it's very easy to be able to hold them accountable and to try to get more out of them. So I think he does a great job of doing all those things. Did you ever get? I haven't looked up yet, but it's like you look up a little bit and it's like, man, you made it to 11 years in this league, however many career interceptions, and it's all just been my work in preparation, just staying humble and now you good, yeah. Yeah, man, it's been a great relationship. I think starting in 2018, having all those great years in Tennessee, those were special years. Like you said, with Rays, whether it was Derrick Henry, AJ, all the guys, we had so much fun. And even when I left, Tennessee, we've always stayed in contact. Vrabel still gets to Nashville a little bit, so yeah, I still have my place there too. We go to like the same country clubs, so I'll see him a lot. I know his sons very well, Tyler and Carter. So we kept in contact over the years and things like that. Not necessarily knowing that we were going to be able to join forces again, but like I said, that just talks about the person that he is and the great relationship that we do have. He is for sure. I think he said he used to caddy when he was younger, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I think he lives next to a country club too now in Nashville. But no, our relationship is really great, and he's definitely the better golfer for sure.
How many more years do you think you want to play? Or what do you think you have left in you?
Man, it's hard for me to put a limit on it, a number on it. I just feel like when God says that I'm done playing, I think I'll be done. And I think I will know when I'm done. As long as I continue to play at a high level, I'm going to continue to play. As long as a team like New England values me and values what I bring to the field and off the field, then I'll continue to go. But, and I said this even last year before my season in Chicago, like, every year at this point in my career is year to year. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I approach it. At the end of the day, I'm going to put everything into it as if it's going to be my last year. And I think that's how I'm going to just stay focused and stay hungry and stay humble that every game, every snap, and every year could be your last. So just treat it as such.
Kevin, congratulations on 11 years.
Thank you. Thank you.
Huge spot.
It is. Trust me.
That being the case, let's see. 3 years to be 35, say be 36. I'm good at math.
Yeah, you are. Sounds like it.
And this will probably be close to your last slot. Are you tracing a championship? Because you have gone to a team that wasn't very good. So this is a very bad. You're coming here to win a title.
No, absolutely. I said this, I think before you came over here, but now you're good. I had basically two teams that I wanted to play for, this offseason. Obviously, with the year we had in Chicago, that was going to be the first option. And once I see that wasn't going to work out, it was New England, you know what I mean? And didn't necessarily know if it was going to work out, but going into like the combine, talking to my agent, like those are two teams that I want to play for. Because I think the hardest thing that you can get in this league is the quarterback situation good. And I think New England definitely has that with a, MVP runner-up in the second year. I think Drake May is a phenomenal player. I've heard nothing but great things about him from multiple people in the organization, even before I got here. And like you said, this defense has a lot of great pieces. So I just want to be somebody that's going to add on to it and just, bring everything that I have that I've learned over the years and try to just serve this group as best as I can.
That's your sir. When Mike played here, they went and got a veteran safety, Rodney Harrison.
Yes.
Are you now his new Rodney Harrison? Is that what's happening there?
No, I'm pretty sure y'all know all about Vrabel and all his rules. He don't like to make comparisons and stuff like that. No, I don't want to compare myself to Rodney. I think Rodney was a phenomenal player. We're good friends. I talk to him all the time, especially because he do the Sunday night football, so we'll see each other all the time. But I just want to be me. I think that'll be enough. I want to continue to, take the ball away. That's what I do best. Take the ball away, get turnovers. But in that way, I definitely want to be able to be that veteran presence on the back end on this team to try to continue to help this team and help the culture stay what it is, and that's a winning culture.
I apologize, I think you were already asked this, but I just was curious, well, how would you describe Wargate coming in to this New England, how you can make an impact here?
Yeah, I think I'm one of the more most well-rounded safeties in this league. I think everybody knows me for my ball hawking talents, catching all interceptions, things like that. But, not last year, obviously I had 93 tackles, but the 2 years prior to that, I had 130 tackles, 120-something tackles. So I can get in the box, play the run very well. But also my strong suit is be able to be back there, be that center fielder, and be able to take the ball away from teams. So I take a lot of pride in that. And really, whatever this coaching staff asks me to do, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. So I think I'm very rare.
In that secondary, another guy who likes to, take the ball away is Christian Gonzalez. What's your impression of him, and what's your level of excitement to kind of play back there with him?
Yeah, he's one of the best corners in this league. When I first got to Chicago, Jalen Johnson, I think he was just getting a new contract, coming off a Pro Bowl and stuff like that. That was my first real opportunity to play with like a true shutdown number one corner. I see Christian Gonzalez in that same light. Like I said, he's a phenomenal player. I mean, he has length, he has speed. I haven't talked to him just yet personally, but he ain't got to worry about me shading to his side of the field. Like, you can lock that stuff down, and we'll go to the other side. We'll cover the rest. But no, I think he's a phenomenal player.
Kevin, the NFLPA, they have all like the snap counts of players and stuff. They said you missed only 2 snaps the entire season.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they were?
Yeah, they were like a certain goal line package that Jaquan Brisker was the only safety in, so I came out on those plays. But it wasn't missed for any injuries. No. Like I said, I'm normally used to playing basically every single snap of every game. I've been doing that my entire career, except for my rookie year where I didn't start every game. But yeah, like I said, I take pride in being available. I think availability is your best ability, and you can't make the team, you can't make plays in the cold tub. So I try to do my best to be available, and that's with the preparation, just my recovery routine and everything.
Over the course of your now it's your 11th year, like what has stood out to you about how the league has changed? Is it like the nutrition? Is it the social media? Like what stands out to you about just how being an NFL player has changed?
I think it's, it changes all the time, but it's in multiple ways. I think it's like the way offenses operate, you know what I mean? Like, I want to say early in my career, like, it was a lot more tight end sets, and then everything was just like spread open, all its 11 personnel. But now you're starting to see even more, like, you're starting to see like this change in like the tight ends. Like, so a lot of teams that you used to play was like, you had your one blocking tight end, your one tight end that was like more like the receiving type tight end. So you kind of easily match up personnel. Like, okay, we know what this guy does best, what this guy doesn't. But nowadays, some of these tight ends are just like, they could block, they could catch. So it's kind of hard to be able to tell. Like, for example, like in Chicago, they drafted a guy, Colston Loving, last year. Well, I think personally he's going to be an all-pro probably, if not next year, the year after next. Who's a really good tight end. But that's a little bit different. I think now on defense, it's like, it's not really a lot of like 3 linebackers on the field anymore. Everybody's basically base defense is 5 DBs. If you can get 6 DBs out there, you probably try to get 6 if the 6 DB can hit like a linebacker. So it's just trying to get as much speed out there on the field as possible, because it's a passing league nowadays. Every rule, every penalty is to get the offense in the end zone. So just trying to get as much speed out there. So the game has definitely changed in a lot of ways. I mean, we can have a deeper talk about this, but probably don't got enough time for it. But it's definitely changed.
And now, great moments in history.
My point was like Alex was just saying that you couldn't imagine 2-8, and neither could have I. I couldn't have either, because I thought that at the very worst they would just
I'm starting to think I am negative, and I don't ever think of that.
But even you, Paul,
I don't think of that.
Wow.
But you said
That's really
7
big of
wins was
you.
their ceiling, right?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily disagree with that. They're not gonna get to 7 wins.
But
like,
was
they're not
their
gonna
ceiling if
It's on the
everything
table.
fell in place?
Right.
In other words, if they stayed healthy,
Right.
everything fell in place.
Right,
Like,
but they're not
everything
even
was
gonna be
perfect.
close.
The other teams got hurt and you didn't. Like, maybe you could win 7 games. That's how I felt about this team.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. If they're 2-8, Paul, like they're
Like,
gonna,
I thought they would
if they
lose
win
to the
4
Jets.
games, that's gonna be a lot.
I didn't think the offense could get worse than
I
last
didn't
year.
think that I would
That's
co-sign on that.
But that's my.
I didn't think the
that's-
offense
yeah.
could be worse than it was. and
That's
it
my
is.
question. Is just I think we all kind of agreed that like 6. I feel like we said a lot. Six wins feels like the floor for this team. Like he's too good a coach to not get them 6 wins.
yeah.
Why aren't we to 6 wins this year?
Yeah, I would have said.
I'm not ruling it out.
It's like, see, I would.
It's in the
See,
mix.
I-
It's in play.
I know you think I'm probably lying, but I'm not either, Fred, because I think there's some teams that they could beat. Just like the last couple of games they played, they could have won.
Oh, that would be a big mistake.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here on Patriots Unfiltered, 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. It's Deuce, it's Alex, it's Evan, it's me, it's Matt in the booth, and Paul is doing Loser Palooza, sitting in front of the TV watching first round March Madness with his loser friends.
Does he do this in public or at a house or?
No, it's, yeah,
Like, is
yeah.
it Buffalo Wild Wings?
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Really?
Buffalo Wild Wings.
They hit the overtime button.
That kind of place.
We should have sent a camera.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No one needs
A hidden one.
Miller Lights.
So did
Paul
they
in
sit
his
there
element.
all day? Do they take up space?
I'd
all
be
day?
so pissed if I was that
Right,
waitress.
Exactly.
Trying to turn the tables. Get the hell out.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like,
gonna
if you
sell a
go
lot
in
of beer.
and you say that ahead of time,
That's true.
that's different. Like, we'll
If
go
they
to
tip
watch
well.
games, but not for hours and hours, but a game.
Yeah.
And I'll say when we sit down, like, we're gonna hang out to watch the game. Like that way,
So
they're
you give him an extra tip?
yeah, and that way there the waiter knows that like we're hanging out for a while. This isn't like a in and out.
You got to
situation.
run up a bill if you're going to do
Yeah,
that.
you
got to
gotta
keep the
constantly
drinks
run.
flowing,
Working at
you know?
Buffalo
Well,
Wild
with Paul,
Wings.
that's no problem.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
free refills on the Diet Pepsis too. He's probably another refill. Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm talking
No,
drinks from the bar.
He's drinking his light beer. He's
And it's not like he
Bud
can go to
Light.
a sports book either. So he's just like sitting there,
right.
like just watching.
B
Like,
dubs.
Oh boy. Anyway, that's what Paul's doing. So we'll get the lowdown on.
did you guys watch like when you were in school? Like we used to like during lunch or something. There's always that cool teacher would they let you come in and like watch like the basketball games while.
No.
Oh yeah.
Never.
Yeah, maybe that was you guys.
I
were
wasn't
too-
interested anyway.
Yeah, maybe you guys were too old for that. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
They didn't have TVs back then.
Yeah, no. We always had like, or like if the Red Sox were playing like opening day, like during the school day instead. Yeah.
I had a teacher, Miss Omo. She's the
Miss
best.
Elmo?
Omo.
Oh.
O-L-M-O. I
Oh,
love that woman. She got divorced, so that's not her last name anymore. But the Bruins were in the Stanley Cup in 2011, and it was the finals, and she like gave everyone an extra week to do a project that was due the next day, so everyone could watch the Stanley Cup.
We got to watch the Challenger blow up.
Wow.
That's the only thing I remember watching on TV in school.
Great story, dude.
Oh my God.
We got to
okay.
watch.
Well, damn.
That was it. The only
I'm
time I
talking
recall.
about memories
Otherwise,
of watching college basketball in a classroom.
Otherwise, it was film strips. I mean, are you guys too young for film strips?
Yeah.
That did that?
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
like,
We
they
had
play
a
the tape recorder?
projector though, like
Project-
a projector that
very
the teacher
end,
would write on. And it
I
would
remember
project
when
onto the screen.
our high school got smart boards.
Same.
It was like a really big deal.
And only a couple
Yeah.
classes got them
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
it wasn't
was
every
like,
single
that
one.
was the big deal. But we used to have projectors or like the TV on wheels
What
that they'd
about,
like wheel in. And
We used to have to clap erasers after class.
Oh, no.
That's how long ago I went to
Right,
school.
right. They still
don't know
had
what
like
that
the
means.
like you had to like push the things over for calculators.
Oh
and
God,
stuff.
just like the chalk. God, the sound of it just drives me nuts.
Did you guys ever watch Voyage of the Mimi?
No.
No, it was like
What?
it was like a middle school science movie. It's like young Ben Affleck though. It's like Ben Affleck at like 14 years
like
old.
Armageddon?
And
Oh,
he
even
goes-
younger.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Armageddon only set on a boat.
Yeah.
And they go on like little science adventures, and I don't know. It was a school thing. I'm just little Ben Affleck. And a
All
great,
right.
great opening song.
A lot of good emails coming in. Jock from Decatur, Georgia. Was Forge and Foxborough always meant to be 4 episodes, with the last one being a season recap? Pretty much, yep. Also, did you guys feel the team was balls to the walls in the Super Bowl, playing with nothing to lose? I compare it to the Saints Super Bowl win, where even though they were less of a surprise team, people really gave them no chance to win the game. Never got that feeling from the Patriots until the fourth quarter.
Balls to the wall.
Do you think they were ball? I think they were trying their hardest, but they just didn't have any answers.
Trying their best.
When you lose the trenches, it's
Yeah.
very hard to win.
Yeah.
I
I think
thought
they're just
that
fighting for their lives at a certain point.
you kind of get to a point of acceptance with it, but I thought right after the game when we talked about it in the following week that like they didn't really empty the clip. Like there was things that I felt like offensively they left on the cutting room floor, and I don't know the
Yeah, I
the
kept
reason
waiting for like a
why.
trick play or something.
Yeah, trick play, 6 offensive line, like something that was a wrinkle that was somewhat unique that they had in their back pocket, and it just never pulled.
Well,
one
it
of
was-
those
Especially after
out.
the Holland's touchdown.
Yeah, Holland's touchdown.
There was kind of a throwaway line that Vrabel had at halftime. He said something to the effect of, I hope we all, what do you say, let it loose in the second half. And he kind of glanced quickly toward the offense. Like, I think he was talking to them and to Josh.
I think for me, part of the problem was just getting an early play, making that early play to, especially offensively, where they couldn't sustain really anything. But, even defensively, I thought they were really close. And that, was my one woulda, coulda, shoulda. If they had one of those plays to kind of build on, When this defense was rolling last year, you could feel that energy. Like, man, they are on fire. You never got to that point.
I mean, they were playing like they weren't giving up touchdowns. They were doing everything they could. It was
Yeah.
just a lot to ask.
Yeah.
To now have that big play as well. You know, I think it wasn't the defense.
Yeah.
It wasn't the defense.
There was a couple times they were close. Like Jason, I think, came around the edge and almost strip sacked Darnold, but his arm was like just moving forward. And
Marcus.
Yeah, like there's a couple of those that maybe that could have changed the tide. But if I had, true serum moment with Josh McDaniels, I would have been like, what? Was it something that I'm missing that wouldn't allow you to like kind of empty the bag, because it felt like they kind of just went down with the ship with what they had kind of planned going in. And
we're not going to do anything to help them if we make a mistake.
I don't
So
know.
we're gonna,
I mean, I think it's hard too when you just feel like you can't block them. You
Right,
know,
that's
it's
it.
hard
I
to-
mean, that's like I
you
said.
know.
If you lose the trenches, it's really hard to win. You know that 07.
Yeah,
they couldn't block.
Right.
Yeah.
They couldn't block. Brady was under siege.
Yeah,
But like the emailer brought up the Saints, like they onside kicked at a halftime. Now they can't do that anymore, but they did it at the time, and it was Sean Payton was revered for it, right? And I'm not
because it worked.
right, obviously. But like they knew they were the underdog. They knew they needed to create possessions, and they did something to create a free possession.
Yeah.
I mean, you compare it all to the Super Bowl 36 where, you got plays. You got a pick six from Ty Law.
Right.
It was, the offense was kind of similarly stagnant, but you got those defensive plays. And if you had the defensive plays this time and, all of a sudden Darnold starts to get in his own head. I mean, Evan said something we were talking earlier of like, could you just get him to the point where he has to chase a little, he has to press a little bit. And you never really did.
Even at 19-7, I was like, if you get the ball back and you score again and it's 19-14, at least you're putting some game pressure
make
on
him get a
Sam
first
Darnold
down.
to do something, and then we all pick, and
Yeah.
the rest is history.
Gerald in Burlington, earlier today you were talking about wishing there was an ability to tweak your algorithm on social media. Spotify is getting ready to beta test that ability for its premium users, so it may be coming soon. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
I just hate the
I
thing
mean,
where
music
like,
to me is a lot simpler.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that they do that. But when you talk about like X and Instagram, it's just so broad. To me, it's more important to be able to tweak your algorithm
I think that
on those platforms.
I think it's more. It's really bad on Facebook, but like all these AI generated posts that are fake
Oh my God.
are like getting really, really bad.
My grandmother falls victim to one per week. I have to start sending you guys them. She sent me an AI generated
problem.
image of Drake May getting arrested, but it didn't even look like Drake May. It looked like a hybrid of Mac and Drake.
Yeah.
And it was like he gets arrested in Westwood, Massachusetts, except it's like Policia on the car. It's like a European. I'm gonna put it in the newsletter.
Oh boy, yeah.
My poor grandma.
It goes back to like that thing I said about Tennessee, like the algorithm. It's like you might just be interested in something for a second, and like you want to check it out, but that doesn't mean that you need to be fed everything about this for eternity. Like
Right.
I just, not everything is one of your interests. You're just, floating around. That's why.
Well, plus,
there's
if
a
you,
lot of
God
fake
forbid,
stuff
you
out
search
there.
something on Google,
No,
and then you go to YouTube, and all
God
of a
forbid
sudden,
you say something out loud to your friend, and you're gonna
It's
get
uncanny.
fed ads for it.
What would we talk? Something happened. We were talking the other week.
Oh,
about
you and I were talking about
something random.
Portuguese citizenship, and
All of a
now
sudden I
you're
start
like,
getting, like-
visit Portugal.
Right.
Gerald also says, I was listening to an NFL podcast yesterday, and the hosts were implying the Giants are shopping Kayvon Thibodeau for a third or fourth round pick. If that is all he's going to cost, would you be interested in him for the Patriots?
Yes.
I would assume he's being shopped. I mean, they have three guys: Burns, Carter, Thibodeau. I think he was 2022 or 3 draft. I don't remember which one. Says he's coming up on his rookie contract expiring and all that good stuff. So I don't know what it would take, but I assume that he can be had for the right price.
Dylan writes in, I think, a surprisingly uneasy reaction to the latest episode of Forge and Foxborough. Prior to the episode, I felt great about the offseason and thought that all of our players we moved on from were pretty replaceable. Watching Forge, man, the season highlights really show the locker room, sideline, and big moment impact of a pretty big list of players no longer on the Patriots. Diggs, Chason, and even Tavai were pretty big voices in the locker room and sideline, and a lot of the highlights of the season were Jennings, Tonga, Diggs, Gibson, and Chason. And I'm not trying to overvalue these players. However, we just did this last year where we got rid of a lot of the team leaders and voices, then brought in all new ones, and it worked. And now it seems like besides the key guys like Drake, Henry, and Williams, we're kind of doing it again. Interested if anyone feels this way, and I know most people, like Evan, will just say, who cares? You have Drake and Vrabel to a certain degree. I agree with that because those are the most important, but we're really rolling the dice on the other voices, I think.
I think you're exchanging what the emailer is saying, which I think is a takeaway that all of us had from watching Forge, with hopefully what is like upside and higher ceiling players.
Yeah.
And that's an exchange that I think as a building team that a risk you kind of need to take is, okay, those guys were all important to the team last year in the respect the emailer laid out, but talent-wise, can we do better?
Right.
And I think that ultimately that's something that you just have to take
And
a
we
risk
made the
on.
joke about how far they got. Evan's favorite line, like the power of friendship, and then it actually started working. Can you run back the power of friendship a second year?
Well, then it worked until it didn't, too, right? Then you ran into a bunch of grown men in Seattle, and it didn't work
Veteran
so well.
D-line.
So, right. So, like, I think that's the hope. And I hear what the emailer is saying, though. I mean, I think there's a lot of guys, even, we talked about it even before Forge came out, that there's going to be a leadership void that they're going to have to learn, figure out a way to fill.
But I think the biggest leader on the team is Vrabel. And he's still here.
That's the
and
most important
It's his
piece.
culture, and I think, there are, not everyone's leaving.
No, Spillane,
Yeah.
Morgan Moses.
Yeah.
I mean, there are still some really prominent
Absolutely.
leaders.
And you bring in Bayard, like
Yeah.
listening
That's
to
a
that
great
guy
one.
talk, I'm like, hell yeah.
I mean, we talked about Vrabel bringing in guys he knows. I look at it as a good sign that he's not afraid to move on from guys he knows too, and isn't just saying, "Well, I'm just going to stick with what I know." I think they've taken some risks this year. Letting some of those guys go, but to Evan's point, trying to take maybe a half step back in the offseason to take a full step and a half, 2 steps this fall, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, like Bradbury, big part, but we all think Jared Wilson is a part of the future, and Elijah Vera Tucker, when he's healthy, is a better player.
Yeah.
So, like, you might be losing Bradbury, who's a great dude. I mean, I'm one of my favorite people I've
Love
ever
Garrett.
covered, but you lose him, but you're hoping that talent-wise you get better there.
But for all the people that were, they made the Super Bowl, but they were lucky to get there, and it's if you're one of those kind of people, like, I think you should feel like they felt similar. Yeah, we got to the Super Bowl here, but we still have a lot of work to do, and we're not going to be married to something or someone just because it worked pretty well last year and we got to that point. It's going to have to be better this year.
I think they definitely are telling you that they were in the Super Bowl, but they don't feel like they were a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
All right, back to the phones, 855-PATS-500. Randy's in Providence. What's up, Randy?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Randy.
Good.
I've got 3 draft-related questions for you. Number one, do you guys think that cornerback is an understated need? 2 of the 3 losses, Gonzalez was injured. Carlton Davis has only been fully healthy for 1 out of his 8 career years in the NFL. That was last year. So, we can't count on luck. We need a reliable cornerback 3. We signed a cornerback this morning. I don't know if that's the guy, but maybe targeting like a 3rd, 4th range, someone like Prysock, Dalen Everett, Davison Igbinosun maybe. And then D-tackle. I don't know if you guys caught that on X, Twitter. Corey Durden was kind of almost offended by the pick of a nose tackle by Daniel Jeremiah in his latest mock draft. Do you think he could be a bigger part of the team? He had good pass rush grades last year. He was really intense out there on the field. And then you've also got Joshua Farmer coming back. So could the perceived need on the defensive line be a little less than some think? And then, lastly, Mike Washington Jr. interest. Is that real? And could they take him at 31? They took Henderson at 38 last year, so obviously they're comfortable taking one in that range. Elliott Wolf at the Combine compared that range, right, scouting-wise and so forth. So could they take a running back there? He's bigger. He's faster. Why not, I guess? What do you guys think? They've obviously really attacked the run game this offseason. So could a new, younger running back that's really fast and big be the next logical step in that process?
All right, thanks,
Lord
Randy.
help me if they
At
take
31?
a running back at 31.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, especially one with 7 fumbles.
With Ramondre and Travion Henderson on the roster and take a running back at 31.
Yeah.
And a running back that I think most people
Well,
think is like a day 2 pick.
Right, and his first one is cornerback an underrated need.
Glad he brought it up. We're going to shoot the cornerback and safety segment after this show. So this is top of mind. I think he brought up a lot of good points. I think it is a depth need. But I mean, they do have
Depth
8
need.
corners. Yeah.
Depth need.
Yeah. And I mean, this is more, I mean, I think Evan brought it up last week when you're talking about, well, who's our 5th corner? You know, you'd love to have
If
somebody.
that's your biggest
in the-
problem, you're in
right.
good shape.
I mean,
That's
you'd
exactly
love
what
to-
I've been saying
right.
when we get this question.
And I think he's totally right to bring up Carlton Davis's health, even though he played every game this year. There were probably at least 13 games where we thought he was going out for something.
He had
And
a
he's back out
season-ending
there. He's
injury
fine.
every game and then
even
came back out.
practices, it was like, Carlton Davis out today. Oh, he's back. They did a great job managing him last year, I think. But that's
Marcus Jones had a great year, too.
Marcus Jones is
I
outstanding.
just think that if my only point about cornerback to play devil's advocate is we can do this across the entire roster.
Yeah.
Like Randy just brought up running back and the need for a third running back. We could bring up a linebacker and the need for linebacker depth. You could bring up tight end and the need for tight end depth, safety, and then Kevin Byard's on a 1-year contract. Like that's football. Like you could do this across the entire roster. Do they need better depth at corner? Possibly, but where are you taking that? You know, he mentioned a couple guys that are like 3rd or 4th round picks. I think that's probably where the conversation would start to me about talking about corners, and I don't really like it in the top 100. They have 2 4th round picks. If they use one of those on a cornerback that they liked, I'm not going to kill them for it.
Yeah.
But I just look at I would say pretty much every single NFL roster has that question.
Yeah.
Like we really like our starting corners, but like what happens if one of them gets hurt?
Right.
I think every single team in the league is asking themselves those types of questions.
I'd just say put some, I'm curious to see Marcellus Dial, I thought, had a good camp last year, and then he got hurt towards ACL. Kobe Minor was a guy who got called up late. Charles Woods played some meaningful snaps last year as replacements. So, they do have those 3 guys as depth. I think some of the stuff I'm looking at with like a bigger slot, and that kind of is a little bit of an overlap with maybe a safety. Just giving them more options to deal with tight ends and running backs, especially tight ends, and not putting that on Spillane. Maybe it's a weak side linebacker too that you kind of pair with him. But
we were talking about that on Catch 22 yesterday because it's interesting. Like so many of these bigger safeties, the heaviest safety in the draft this year is only 215 pounds because so many of those guys are now listed as linebackers.
Yeah,
because they're like low 220s at linebacker instead of being low 220s as like a box safety. So how do you split that atom of a lot of the safeties in this class? When I went through all of them, I was like, who's the Cam Chancellor? Right? Like who's the guy that when somebody comes over the middle, he's gonna feel his presence. That doesn't like really exist as much. All these guys can cover really well. But I don't really necessarily see that. And then I thought to myself, I was like, oh, it's because they're all playing linebacker. So, the guys that are like that, the Kyle Lewises, the Harold Perkinses, like those guys are all technically listed at linebacker. So which one do you draft? This is like long-winded way of saying that. Like, do you draft an athletic coverage linebacker that can do the things that you're saying, or do you draft another cover safety that can do those types of things?
Yeah, interesting.
Chuck in Wisconsin, you're up. Chucky.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, first time caller.
Right.
Sounds like
love you guys. Hey, you really anchor the coverage in a central way. And I really love Paul's at home, but I really love how Paul explains Felger and how you wind the whole thing together as far as the media coverage. So, but yeah, thank you guys for anchoring it.
Sure.
So a couple of points I wanted to get some opinions on. Playing Howie's game in the A.J. Brown trade, do you guys think that signing Hollywood Brown has anything to do with maybe leveraging a current Patriots player out of a deal?
Like Booty, you mean? Like they kind of have an outside guy now and they wouldn't want to take Booty in a trade?
Booty was at the top of the list. Like, it just makes sense, Mike, that, you would put Booty in there to give Philly something to roll with.
So now Philly says we don't need any.
Well, I think it's just a 1-year deal for Hollywood Brown. I mean, I think just to get the guy in the building and have some already work going on with him. But I do see it a little bit related, just generally speaking, that if you're going to have to move on, from A.J. Brown, that you're going to want to have some quality depth and a guy who can play on the outside and have some speed. So I see a little bit. I don't know. You're drawing the line. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. But I mean, it does make sense on paper if you're going to swing him to maybe give up somebody like Booty who could fill in some of his snaps.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to find out a lot about Philly's intentions, like if they draft a receiver. That's also another tell that maybe they're moving on. I mean, the Hollywood deal is it's a 1-year deal. So maybe they're thinking we'll sign Hollywood Brown for a year, we'll draft a receiver, and then when we trade A.J. Brown, we kind of have that depth built around him. I don't know, but there's a lot of smoke about A.J. Brown, and he was doing some sort of TikTok thing yesterday where he's talking about his Patriots fandom and all this kind of stuff. And so,
influencing?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, Jesus.
Were you
Ricky came back.
Ricky was tweeting today.
He had a report, then he deleted his account again. We're just.
Was that the deal is in place?
This is the dog, Ricky.
Ricky the dog. I took a screenshot of it.
This is like NBA Sentinel, but like
Barking
this is our
news.
version.
I've been told that the Eagles and Patriots have an agreement in place to trade A.J. Brown post June 1 and should be official June 2.
Who said that?
So this is
Ricky.
Ricky Scoops.
So
Ricky
Ricky
Scoops,
Scoops, and then he deactivates immediately after doing that. But there's been some scuttlebutt about this guy being semi legit.
Yeah.
He's been wrong and right. Like he's not always right.
How
But
many followers does he have?
well, he has. I mean, this is like a known thing. Like this is not a new phenomenon. I think his first like big break was a couple years ago. I want to say. I can't remember what the trade was, but he's had some accurate ones.
The account is deactivated right now, but that's
Yeah.
what the profile picture is.
Yeah. I guess it's upset some of the people in the
So
insider
why does he
world.
deactivate his account?
That's just how he rolls.
Mind games.
Just how he rolls. I think some of it is that he doesn't want like the backlash when he's wrong. I don't know, but he's
Maybe he doesn't want his tweets put
I
in
would say he's
aggregates
got
and-
like probably like a 25% hit rate, but there are some hits. Like it's not like it's zero.
And he's broken stuff out of nowhere, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
too. Stuff that no one expected to happen, and it's kind of like those blockbuster moves.
Okay, well, we'll see. Danny's in Daytona. Hey, Danny.
Hey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Great.
So where is Paul? I didn't see Paul.
Paul is at Loser Palooza.
Pay attention.
Okay, all right. I was gonna give Paul a hard time today and also thank him because Paul came in clutch last week. Some crazy caller came in saying stuff that I was saying last week. And Paul actually sided on my case, so I appreciate Paul. Next time I see him, I'll thank him. To Evan, to your point, I heard you talking to a regular caller, just not to I think it was Herm, DC. You were talking about the number one receiver. I think it is kind of too hyped. People, I like number one receivers. Obviously, everyone does. But as you saw in the Super Bowl, Fred pointed out, and I meant to mention this about a month ago, Jackson and Smith and Jigba was literally taken out of the game. I mean, you can argue and make this point and say, well, he had all these drops or the coverage was kind of sticky and hard. But, I mean, he was literally taken out of the Super Bowl. Like, every pass that either –
Who took him out of the Super Bowl, Danny?
Gonzalez.
Okay, so they had to put Gonzalez on him, right? How did Kenneth Walker do in the Super Bowl?
Well, again, I mean, yeah, you brought up your point, yeah, the run game, but I'm just saying.
How did A.J. Barner, their tight end, do in the Super Bowl?
I mean, he did do good, but I'm just saying the number one receiver, it attracts attention, but again, the day, it's not all the end-all, be-all. You got to have that number one guy. So the other guys that just called in, you can have, as long as you have, look at for example, the Bills have been a laughingstock for a receiver for the last few years, but the only reason they stay relevant, everyone keeps talking about them every year, is because they have Allen. If Allen leaves the Bills, people wouldn't even talk about the Bills. Allen is the Bills. I'm telling you. So as long as we have Drake May, I don't worry so much about the number one receiver like everybody else does, because as long as we can contribute, and especially with Josh's offense, you don't need that guy. That's why Elliott came out and said he really doesn't, and Bertan was making fun of Elliott. He's like, you don't really need that Bertan was like, we need a number one, and Elliott's like, I don't really want a number one. We just need a collection.
He didn't really
guy.
say that. He just said, it's good to have talent everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I just think, Danny, I think everybody in Buffalo right now is.
Thanks, Danny.
Every single mock draft for the Bills I see has them taking a receiver because they don't have a guy for Josh Allen.
They never replaced Diggs, and they drastically underperformed.
I think that that's the number one conversation around Buffalo right now is how do you get more help offensively for Josh Allen, because there's too much on Josh Allen right now. I understand what people are saying. It's good to have multiple mouths to feed. It's good to be able to spread wealth around and all that kind of stuff. I think when you look at the Bills, I think they're a great example. Like, there's too much on the quarterback and there's too much on their run game. And I think that when push comes to shove, those types of teams that are very centric on one or two things, they tend to have issues.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Hello, Marie. Claire. I tune in late, and Deuce is lamenting about Sadiq and talking about how dominant Gronk was.
Hey,
how am I
girl.
supposed to concentrate on cooking dinner? But seriously, the tight end position has to have some attention this year, right?
I would think so. I mean, I would really think so. It's just, how do they see it all, and how do they see it all putting together? I just see it as the easiest way to get a playmaker on the field, or and even if it is a second, third, fourth round kind of a guy. That, Aaron Hernandez was like a fourth round guy. And I mean, I know he had other issues that pushed him down, but was one of those kind of move tight ends. We talked about they have all their wide receivers coming back. You swap Diggs for Dobbs. So to me, this is a spot where, Hunter Henry's still going to carry the load. The kid from Miami, he's going to do some blocking and chip in, Julian Hill, but can we work in this young athletic tight end? So like a guy like Sadiq, which is probably a pipe dream, but now we have a little bit of a move piece and somebody who's got some athletic juice that going into the season, nobody really knows what to expect from him. And now Josh can play with this, and you probably would see a 3 tight end set. You'd see 3 tight ends, a fullback, and a running back. He'd put that kind of package on the field. So I just think it's an opportunity to quickly get a playmaker on the field.
I just wonder, I think that...
there he is, Sadiq.
The first point I would just make to that is, tight end is often one of the slower developing positions in the NFL. So especially because in the passing game, because they don't use them as much in the passing game in college. So getting a guy this year, knowing Hunter Henry's age and his contract situation, so that next year, if you do have to move on from Hunter Henry at that point, that you're not left without, a bare cupboard looking around. It's like, who's the next guy there? It's always good to be a year ahead of those types of things. But I also think that in the draft, it's interesting, like when that run of tight ends is really going to start. Like Sadiq's kind of in his own tier in the first round, but all these guys that we're talking about, like in day 2, early day 3, the Patriots, are sitting there at 63-95. Like, when does that start to move? When does that parade start to go by? Because then you have guys like Stowers and Max Clare and Trigg and Delp and go on right down the line, Sam Roush. Like at some point there's going to be a run on tight ends, and you don't want that parade to go by without jumping on at some point. So they might have to be aggressive with it and seriously think about taking one at the back of the second round, because by the time it snakes back to them at the end of the third round, there might not be anybody left.
Yeah, I mean, on Hunter Henry, 66 catches last year, 60 catches this year. So I mean, 2 of his top 3 seasons. I mean, he had 60 catches for the Chargers back in 2020, but otherwise 2 of his top 3 seasons have come. But I just thought it was kind of a disappointing end, and I thought, is that a sign of things to come? He had some drops. It just, it didn't look quite right. You just want to be ahead of that one, because the point I was going to make with Josh Allen too is like, what would happen to Brady if they didn't draft Gronk? Like, if you didn't have that number 1 version, I mean, would they have gotten? And I know they won one of them without him, but I think that's what Buffalo was searching for, a dude, and it could be a tight end, but
and they've tried. I mean, Dalton Kincaid, Keon Coleman, like it's not like they haven't tried.
No,
I just I also wonder, like, at tight end, are you drafting him as a complement to Hunter Henry, or are you drafting him to replace Hunter Henry, or are you doing both? I guess, but like Hunter Henry is, at this stage of his career is really a pass catching tight end. I would say that is moving the chains. So he's not a great blocker, and he's not necessarily stretching the field, right? So are you looking for more of a well-rounded blocking type of tight end that can catch passes? Are you looking for a true explosive, receiving tight end with high upside in the passing game? Obviously, if they do both, that's Kenyon Sadiq and those guys go in the first round. So like that's the tough part, is that once you get out of the first round of the draft, they usually have a specialty. They're either really good pass catchers or they're really good blockers, but it's hard to find guys that are really good at both.
Give me the pass catcher, and I mean, I think to your point of development, blocking, not something they're probably doing a lot of in college. So maybe that's a part. You get them stronger, you get them more used to blocking, you develop behind them. I'm at the point now where it's really hard to find that well-balanced guy. So let's just go get somebody who's got good size and can move. And that's why I find, Sadiq intriguing. And I know, again, it's probably going to be hard to get him here, but to plug him into this offense, it's like, boom, immediately, all of a sudden, you got a bunch of options for Josh and for Drake.
All right. Well, I promised I would fill people in on what my pillow decision was. And you said, Alex, you had a list of pillows that were
Deuce sent me it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Want me to pull it up?
Sure.
Is
All
this
right.
like who's the finalist, the winner? I think I schlacked it to you.
Schlack. One moment.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was going to.
Side Cube, Med Klein, Ebapo, E-P-A-B-O, Epabo, and Woolshire.
Well,
and I gave you one called Avocado.
Avocado, yeah. And then Side Cube, I think is Pillow Cube, actually.
Yeah.
And then, so I looked into all of these. I really did. I did my research. And I was going to pull the trigger on Pillow Cube. Parker in Manhattan says there's only one pillow side sleepers need to buy. I've slept on this pillow for 4 years now. It's the only one I use. I even bring it on long trips. Everyone in my family has switched to it, and this may be too much information, but multiple hookups who slept over have asked me about it the next morning and ended up buying one.
Congrats on this.
That's the Pillow Cube. I spent hundreds of dollars trying different pillows, and this is the only one that felt perfect. They make 3 sizes based on the space between your head and shoulders so you can get the right fit. So he's telling me. So I did look into Pillow Cube, and like I said, I was going to pull the trigger, but they were sold out with the size that I wanted.
Oh, well, they come in different sizes.
Yeah.
What size did you need?
The heftier one.
Okay.
And also their website's a little bit sketchy. It's like flashy things and all this stuff. And all the price was right. They're not that expensive. But I passed on it.
Okay.
I looked into the Woolshire?
Yeah.
Something about wool and pillows. Like when I think of wool, I think of warm.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't think
Itchy.
of springy. And so I passed on Woolshire. All of these, by the way, have great reviews on the internet. They all have great reviews. The Met Klein, it's a whole contraption.
Yeah.
Like for the side, there's like a hole you put your arm through and all that's like.
I've heard of this
a body
one.
thing.
That's
It's
fun.
like, I just want to go to bed. I don't want to like fit myself into anything. So I passed on the Med Klein. Avocado. I looked at that.
Okay. I like a latex foam pillow. They're nice and springy and.
Yeah. So I ended up going with Healthy Sleep.
Okay.
That's the one I went with. I haven't got it yet, so I can't tell you what it's like. And even when I get it, I'm going to wait a month before I give you a review, just to be fair about it. Like Deuce says, I'll come in a neck brace.
This pillow's great.
Yeah.
Not good.
So I went with that. And we'll see what happens.
What drew you to that?
Well, that was one of the recommendations too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So but I looked at all of them, and that's the one I settled on. Like I said, I was going to get the Pillow Cube, but they were sold out of
What's
that
it made
size.
of?
What?
What's it made of?
Babies.
It's foam, memory. Yeah.
It's very
I don't like a
expensive.
memory foam. It just doesn't come up.
I don't
quick
like.
enough.
We have a memory foam bed, and I don't like it.
Yeah,
But I don't
no,
think
it's
I'm
not
getting out of it though,
comfortable.
because my wife likes it.
Oh, do you?
I don't know. It just feels like I'm trapped. I can't get. It's so hard to like roll over. There's no spring to it. You're just kind of like in a dead spot. I don't know. I don't care for it.
Maybe you got.
No, it's
defective.
good. I mean,
it's just not.
But I find it
I
hard.
agree.
I roll a lot.
Ours is a coil, but then the top has like a little layer.
So you got a little bit of ability to.
Telling you
move
guys,
around.
latex foam.
I don't know what the top layer exactly is, but the top layer is soft, like to kind of give it a little bit of softness. But then the bed itself is made from real coils, so it's
got a
firm.
pillow top.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
pillow top.
But the problem with it is that because of that, it's hard to get sheets. Because the sheets
Right,
don't
right.
regularly.
You gotta get extra deep sheets.
Yeah, like we have a queen size bed and it doesn't
pulled up.
fit.
Oh,
like
so
there's-
annoying. Middle of the night. It's
Yeah.
pulled, the corners pulled
Yeah,
up,
and then
and
you
you
get
feel the
and then
mattress.
you get the
know.
dog. He likes to lay on the bed, and so then the sheets are all over the place. Yeah,
Okay.
it's unfortunate.
So anyway, that's what I decided.
Did you get the advanced pillow sit and sleep or the ultra tech low profile pillow?
No, there's a cool one.
Okay.
A cool pillow.
Hey.
Thick.
It's got fonts on
it's
it.
the
Healthy sleep.
Cool tech high profile
We're
pillow.
only
Yeah.
laughing.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. High profile.
Got it.
That one looks interesting.
That's the one I got.
Hey.
Hey. Pillow.
But the Medcline was a whole. It was a whole system.
It's you go put your arm through it.
Yeah,
right?
underneath
That
it's
looks
like a
so
hole.
ugly on a
Yeah.
bed.
That makes sense.
From an
Right.
aesthetic purpose,
Right.
like your wife would
Who's looking-
hate that.
Right.
Who's looking at your bed?
Yeah.
You don't like to
From
have
the
a
number of show
nicely
pillows
made,
I
like
have on
beautiful
mine,
bed.
Apparently, people are coming through all day to look at our bed. 'cause
Plus,
there's
you
a
know,
whole
you
like,
also want a
show
pillow that when you want
Whatever
to
you
sit
do
up
in
and
your
watch the TV, it's you need that too.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a normal pillow. I just want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Why is
I
it-
don't want to
Right.
have to put my hole in, and then there was like a body wrap thing, and it's like no.
It's like a pregnancy pillow.
And the price was like $250 for the whole
Sheesh.
thing. Yeah.
Why is it so complicated? I mean, we all spend what, like a third of our lives asleep, but like, there's no like, right? Well, you can't sleep that way. You're gonna jam your neck, and if I sleep on my back, I'm gonna snore. And like, why is it so complicated? Shouldn't there just be like a basic, easy thing to just sleep? And like, I don't. Sorry.
Yeah.
I sleep on my back. I feel like I'm an outlier.
No.
I'm a back
Yeah,
sleeper
I
too.
can't sleep on my back.
Really?
Jess says I look like a mummy, and she like
Yeah.
sometimes it like freaks her out. Like she has to wait to see if like I breathe. Like my
It's funny, like if it's a weekend and I'm tired and I lay down to take a nap, I can sleep on my back.
Oh yeah.
But at night, I cannot sleep on my back.
You gotta
Just
be on
gotta elevate a little so you don't snore probably.
the- See, I like to like kind
If
of
you're
hug the pillow, and I'm kind of side, but I'm kind of twisted, and
You're
I
a
don't know.
pillow
hug the pillow?
hugger.
You're a
Kind of
pillow
like I
hugger?
kind of get my arm under. I mean, maybe I should look at your one with the armholes, because like I
Yeah.
don't know that and
Of
your
course, you're a
shoulder.
pillow
If I
hugger,
sleep
that
on my
makes
side, I
sense.
like lose feeling in my arm and my hip
No, that
when I
happens.
wake
some-
up.
No, I wait. Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
no,
so
that happens.
sore.
That's what.
Yeah.
That's my whole point. Is like, why is it so hard to find a correct sleeping position
Yeah.
when this is something that we all do, and yet like, well, don't sleep like that or have this. I don't know.
I love to sleep, so no matter how it happens,
Enjoy it
and
while
that-
you still can.
Oh, love it.
Parker says only one pillow was sold out. Memory foam sucks. This isn't memory foam. Right, the one I wanted was sold out. Thank you. So, anyway,
Good convo.
yeah. All
Pillow
right.
talk.
Pillows.
Pillow talk.
Well, that's
well,
that sounds like a
emailer
newsletter
had-
headline right there.
I already had it queued up.
Somebody actually sent me a review of Speed Queen. It was a guy in an appliance store, and he was reviewing the saying that it is the best.
Mhm.
There's two different models right now that basically you can get. So then I went down the rabbit hole on YouTube on Speed Queen reviews.
Oh, got an influencer.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? I'm here to tell
Right,
you about
wanted to
this
flex
great
on
Walk,
them.
don't run to get
but
this
I am
Speed Queen
obsessed.
dryer
I
and
will say
washer.
that I bought my Speed Queen, the one I have now, in 2020. Since then, the price has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
never
the
heard of that.
influence of Fred.
I want a piece of that.
Wet his beak.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with COVID, and the price is never
Right.
going back down.
No, but like mine, when I bought mine, each, the washer and dryer were each in the three digits.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
$700-800.
That's
Now,
right.
they're
But you don't have to replace
they're like
it.
$1,400-1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you got to put
What's the
quarters in
saying?
it every time you use
Buy,
it.
Buy once, cry once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Or buy twice.
good philosophy.
I just feel like
Choose-
a lot of things, obviously the housing market, the car market, like all these things, like COVID happened and the prices skyrocketed
Yeah.
because of supply chain issues during COVID, and then the company, it never
Oh,
recovered.
yeah. They don't, you can never go down. They always go up.
Right. So like now, like cars are
Yeah,
still
but used cars. Like I bought my
Crazy.
Toyota in 19. It was a year old. 3 months later, COVID hit, and the dealership's calling me to buy my car back for
Yes.
more than I spent. And I'm like, that sounds great, but then the problem is I can't afford a better car. What am I going to do? Downgrade this car
That's
I
right.
just bought? No. Same thing with
There's a-
houses.
Yep.
There was a big boom on the used car market because of the chips in the cars that they use on the new cars.
Yeah.
There's supply chain issues because of COVID, because they all come from overseas.
Yeah.
And so they like these dealerships are just trying to snatch up used cars and get people out of older cars and into newer cars, and that was a big thing. But these like the lease deals and all this financing stuff is like never went back to the way it was before, and I don't think it ever will.
It's not gonna.
Yeah. COVID screwed up everything.
Yeah.
especially
Really did.
restaurants. Yep.
Yeah.
How so in restaurants?
I don't know. I
We
just
lost
find
so
a
many
lot of
good
restaurants
ones.
very depressing now. Like, I
Oh,
don't know.
yeah?
I just,
Still?
yeah. I mean, some of the local ones I love that, like, there's a Thai food place in Sharon that we went to that, it's family owned and, and everyone's, but sometimes I go to, if you randomly get stuck in like, not that I go there a lot, but like a Chili's or an Applebee's or like one of those kind of stuff. And I'm like, everyone here is depressed. Like, nobody wants to be here.
And there's
food
also
seems
so many
crappy.
restaurants that just rely on like the Cisco's or the other big brand where they're all getting the same food packaged a different way. Like the local restaurants that are killing it execute well. They're making their own actual food. Like everything else
No, I'm
is
willing
just
to pay.
like,
I'm
why
willing
are
to
you
pay
gonna?
more? Like,
yeah.
I'd rather go pay more for a great meal than feeling like I'm going to pay still a lot. But for
And the
just a
consumer's
crappy
just so tapped
dinner.
out. That's how they feel. You're not gonna go to a restaurant that has the same food as every other restaurant.
It's my pet peeve. If I can cook a better breakfast than a place I get breakfast, it annoys me so much.
We don't go out to breakfast much, but we do have I have a new favorite place in the North End, I think, because we go to the North End a lot, and this place called Antico Forno on Salem Street. Some of the best. I'm a big bolognese guy. Some of the best bolognese I've ever had.
I got my
There you
anniversary
go.
coming up, Ev. I might have to check that out.
It's really, really good. It's right on Salem Street, walkable to the bakeries after
93
for some
Salem Street
dessert.
to be
Yeah,
exact.
and
North
it's
End.
very, very good place.
Let's check out this shirt from Tony and Elaine's.
Nice.
The football is a
there
little
you go.
bread.
Oh, wow,
Kind of
that's
cute,
great.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, we went to Capri. I told Evan this
I
story
know.
already.
We have a resi in a couple weeks.
It was delicious. And the manager, I went with some of the girls on the content team. The manager told us when the O-line had their dinner there, they have these rolls that they're famous for. They're honey buns, and it comes in a 6 come per order. I guess the O-line got 24 orders of this bread when they were there.
But you say that it's going out. A lot of the restaurants are sad now. I feel like the younger generation, like 25 to 35, go out to eat more than ever.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a
Because
that's why
kids
we're all
don't
in
really
debt.
go out to clubs and drink anymore. Like the
No.
club scene is dead. Now it's like you go out with your friends, you go out to a nice dinner, and you just spend 2 hours.
Because it's the best. You just go out to have a nice dinner.
Yeah.
I'm at home by 9:30, 10 o'clock.
But when I was your age, like food was just you got to eat,
Right. Yeah.
and then you go drink.
Yeah.
Like put something in your
aren't
stomach
drinking.
so you don't boot.
People in
No.
general aren't
Yeah.
drinking like they used to.
Yeah.
Alcohol
Yeah.
rates are so down.
Good.
Now it's you have like some wine or something with dinner.
Yeah.
Though.
Well,
Yeah, I think the younger people are more sophisticated now than they
Thank
were
you.
when I
Health
was.
conscious
Well,
too.
Yeah. That's all before Loser Palooza, though. So those numbers might be spiking a little bit after today with Paul and his
Like,
buddies.
don't get me wrong. Like we were,
Excuse everybody.
we
Paul
were
saves
driving
the
around a
beer
little bit over
industry.
the weekend, and the St. Patty's stuff
Oh,
in
yeah,
the bar
right.
crawls,
Oh,
and it's all
God.
still very much a
The
thing.
fight videos coming out of that.
But I do agree, Alex. I think that so a lot of it is about health and like how bad drinking is for you and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
We know too
and
much now.
There's a lot of calories
And-
in
and-
alcohol too.
Yep.
And honestly, that's where I think social media actually is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you have access to information, from people who reflect you, age-wise, and like you trust them, and so there's a lot of good information out there about nutrition and sleep and all that stuff.
Unless it's a sponsored ad from an influencer who's being paid to
Yeah.
tell you what
well,
they
and then
think is-
unfortunately, like the camera eats first too. So like a lot of these people are going to these dinners to take
Yeah.
pictures of the food,
Phone eats
And the
first.
ambiance, yeah.
and like all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
But that I agree. I think that's like the thing to do is you Friday, Saturday night where we go into dinner, have some drinks at dinner,
Yeah.
maybe go to a dessert place afterwards, and then you're home to watch the fourth quarter of the Celtics game.
Yeah.
I love eating out.
Sounds specific.
Because in my day, you looked for women in clubs. Now you look for women on your phone.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I know.
So you don't need to go
Right.
to the club.
Well,
Right.
yeah, but also like we all of us already have women, so like
Well, yeah,
we're
but
all
the kids,
married or
we're
before
have
you
the
do,
kids.
Yeah.
that's how you
Yeah.
met people is you went out
Oh,
to
no.
bars, and now
Oh, it's so much
you're like
easier.
scrolling left.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead
Or
of
right.
being,
I don't know which is the good
swipe
one.
right.
instead of being dependent on your soulmate just happening to be at this bar tonight, and
Right.
it's all
Or
gonna
like your
magically
friends
out.
would set you up with people
Yeah.
too. It's
Yeah.
so different.
Yeah.
I met Lane
You
at
go to
work.
parties.
Old fashioned
Yeah.
way. I met a work relationship. That
Did
was
you
fine.
report it to HR?
Well, she left. Luckily, she was
Oh,
leaving.
wow.
She was only
You're
there as a
lucky.
temp,
You're
so luckily
lucky.
it worked out. But
Do center
That's it.
away.
Yeah.
Speaking Fresno says, I'm the one that recommended healthy sleep and will take all the credit or blame.
Oh, there you go.
All
see?
right.
All right.
Yep. So
Fun bit.
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to get because like I
You gotta
have
bring it in for us and show us like the.
I'll take a picture. I'm not gonna bring my pillow in, but
All
I'll
right.
take a picture.
How are we gonna take your
You gotta
word
break
for
it in a little bit though too, right? Like a pillow, like any
these
pillow, you
kind
gotta
of
kind of get
pillows.
used to them a little bit.
No, these aren't like. These are.
I've had my pillow way too long.
Yeah.
So would I, and I was
Like
forced
10
to.
Oh, mine is like I'm
Mine's
folding
like
it
10
like
years
3
old.
times
It's probably not.
Right.
to get it
Right,
high
right,
enough,
right.
you know.
I love it.
A lot of crazy stuff. All right, we're getting to the end here. Team leaders, Bill in Lake Mary, Florida. The absence of a lot of guys who were leaders last year will open the door for other guys who may have wanted to be team leaders to step in and fill those roles. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I think you create a little bit of a vacuum to some extent. I think that's right. I mean, I'd say overall the general philosophy of pulling back on some stuff that was successful this year, that to hopefully be more successful with younger guys and cheaper guys and all that. I mean, I really like what they've done this offseason. I think you get carried away with free agency and you feel like you need to win free agency. It's like, did you fill your needs? Do you know? And I mean, I think it's fair to ask, did they improve? And you hope that they did. It's still maybe a little bit murky if they did, but that's what the draft's for, and there's still free agency.
It was amazing how everything hit last year.
Yeah.
Now, the odds of that happening again, probably against us, but
yeah, and the other
they
part
look
is
good.
like and team health too. Like they were so healthy
Yeah,
last year.
yeah.
You know,
Until
they
they
really.
weren't.
I mean,
Until they
the Will
weren't, right.
Campbell thing. You know, that at the end was the big one. But you know, are they going to have that luck again? Are they going to need to rely on more of their depth this year for prolonged periods? You know, it's
Yep.
just.
I think the juxtaposition of what they did last year to like increase the talent floor by signing
Yeah.
like 19 guys or whatever it was to this year, where I think that they're trying to fill out their depth really through the draft. And it's going to be interesting to see which way it goes, because guys like, you know, Jack Gibbons, a Tonga, like those weren't full-time starters, but they were contributors that were solid depth when guys got hurt and banged up. And now that's probably going to be a younger player. You know, maybe it's somebody on the team already, like a Josh Farmer or a Durden, but it's going to be somebody that's a little bit younger and not as, you know, experienced as the guys that they're filling in for.
You just said, I mean, we had a caller who asked about Durden too. I mean, I'm excited to have him. I still just think they need a big fatty. They need a 320 to 30 pound guy, you know, as that rotational piece.
Yeah.
Like just to cover it.
I was watching some of the big fatties this morning.
Oh my God.
Big Citrus.
I meant that as a love, yeah.
Big Citrus, Dominique Orange.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like a 3rd round pick, so it's probably a little high for the big fat.
Citrus.
But his nickname's Big Citrus, and he's a behemoth. You know, like that guy is just all power. You know, there's a couple of guys in like that 4th round range, like the kid from Alabama that I think is like a true nose tackle type. And you will see, but yeah, I think that that's a potential 4th round type of thing. I think top 100 is a little high for that, but
Peels off well. Big Citrus.
oh yeah, no, he's a
He knows how to
he's a
squeeze.
bad jammer.
That was a good one.
Mike in Florida, there are so many highlights in Forge and Foxborough, especially the AFC Championship game in Denver. But my greatest takeaway is the culture and legacy we built. All the older stars we have, like Vince Wilfork, that came back and reinforced things, and the Patriots train keeps on rolling. Few, if any, teams have such rich history and outstanding production crews. Surely we are the most blessed fans in the NFL.
Hell yeah.
I love it.
Hell yeah.
That's a great point.
And
Shout
then
out Nick.
on me being
Michael
a hobbit.
McCain.
Michael Rundy.
Yeah.
Who else?
Autumn.
McCain,
Autumn.
Jack Gordon,
Jack
Autumn
Gordon.
Thompson.
Some
Kellen
amazing, I would say
Donovan.
too, in regards to some of the shooters, like some amazing shots in this thing.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
mean, just some beautiful
They are true
cinematography
artists.
that's, you know, really cool to look at.
Ford in Savannah. To save you guys a work meeting, it's an angle of the desk that makes Fred look like a hobbit. The people on the ends of the desk are closer to the camera, kind of like a fishing picture. So if you want everyone to look their actual size, you need the desk to not have a point, but be a flat line.
Yeah, that's true.
I figured that, but I figured there'd be a way to adjust for that, like maybe have the middle camera closer. I don't know.
Where are you going over there?
Well, because when you're on, like, I have to sit in that end spot, and like the emailer or caller,
you're
whoever
6'2".
pointed out,
I
I
mean-
look like an Amazonian woman, and I'm only 5'5". Like,
All getting fixed tomorrow.
Wonder Woman.
All right. Well, listen.
camera adds 20 pounds if you're sitting on that corner.
We're going to have a big
Story of my
meeting
life.
led by Matt Morrell. And
Evan's
we're
only
going to figure
5'5"
this out so
in
that
real
I don't
life.
look like a hobbit. Although I don't
Me and
I don't
Jeffrey.
care if I look like a hobbit. So
Well, I hope so, because usually I do the player interviews from that desk, and the player sits here, so it's like I look hobbity too, next to like 6'5" Morgan Moses. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll get it worked out.
Not much you can do about that.
yeah. All right. That's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. I'm going to go home and get some sleep on my new pillow if it's come. I don't know. I haven't got an update.
You didn't get rush shipping?
No. I got free shipping.
Okay.
Free shipping. Yeah. So what else? You guys have big weekends planned? Anything?
No, I got like kind of nothing. I'm in between kids sports weekends, so I was like, what are we gonna do?
best.
I think we might go see Project Hail Mary.
Mary,
Project Hail Mary.
yeah.
I read the book.
They're really hyping that up.
I read the book. I think it'd be fun for the whole
and
family.
the new Dune's coming out.
The
in
new
December.
That'll be a good one.
When?
December.
Oh, December. I thought this summer.
Teaser trailer.
Oh.
When does P.E. Blinders?
Same day as the new Avengers
It's a
movie,
long
Fred.
time.
Yeah.
They're getting you excited now, though.
All right,
I
but
know.
I will see
Paul
it when it's
Atreides
out.
going to the dark side.
Did you guys see One Battle After Another yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie.
We've
Really
been
good.
talking about that for months.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fred, Dune 3, same day as the new Avengers movie.
I'll be seeing Dune 3.
Yeah, I think everybody's seeing Dune 3 in that
Dune.
exchange.
Avengers will be better.
All right, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Hey, this is Matisse. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us wherever you get your podcasts, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, make sure to follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else here that we do at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.